circuit Yas Marina on the outskirts of Abu Dhabi. This is one of the tracks that's one of the modern circuits, deep in the desert. Elevation change slightly negligible, but you do have some long straights, tight hairpins, tight chicanes, and plenty of different layouts to confuse the drivers. And of course, after today's race at Spa, we're bringing you coverage back of the Excite Racing League here at Abu Dhabi. Good evening to you, I'm Pete Markov, joined by Dan Fisk, who's currently having a few issues with the Channel 1 account, so you're going to have to watch it here for now, but Channel 1 should be up very shortly. Good evening to you, Dan.
Good evening, Pete. Yes, as you've just mentioned, there are a couple of issues with our stream login for some reason. I can't seem to get on at the moment, so give me a couple of minutes and hopefully I can get that sorted. But I think a disappointing 10 drivers, 2 GP2 and 1 reserve racing tonight. That's just dreadful in my opinion.
It is crazy. We've got a lot of stewards, fortunately. We've also got a specialist steward recording the race to be able to cover all the corner cutscenes. So here it's going to be pure 100% commentary. Now, I'd love to tell you what kind of lap time Ciaru, who's at the head of the stake, is doing. But the lap time said, and I quote, 25030565545:2182. If you have any idea what that means, please tell me. But as it goes into sector 3, it's towards the kind of Monte Carlo section underneath the Grand Hotel, going into the outside walls, gets a little wide there, almost gets thrown onto the wall as it goes into this tricky double aim. It's called, curve on the outside, no, it throws him off. But well caught by Ciara as it goes into the final corner, gets on the gas here. What's his lap time going to be? It's a 1:38.3. Well, that's faster than I can do in time trials. That's a good start from him. And about Mr. Indigo, meanwhile, is backed off than his lap in the Red Bull, so trying to find someone else who's out on a lap as we speak at the moment. Reach 26 in the Lotus, former double world champion, fighting to get back to the grid, almost like Alan Menu with his return to the BTCC this season. Reach 26 in the Lotus, goes for the line and sets a 1:38.1. Very good lap time on the options. And Jamie 2503 has done a 1:38.3 on the options too. But Ciaru 38.3 on the options. In 4th place, Velocity 38.4 on the options. So we've got literally 3 tenths covering the top 5 so far. Very, very close indeed. Trying to find somebody else who's actually on a lap. A lot of people are on in-laps at the moment, and currently finding it difficult to find anybody else who's actually out on a lap. I'm only being able to cycle through the first 4. Not a good beginning.
No, very disappointing. I think it's just circumstances have all combined together this week to mean that we're missing quite a number of drivers. It shouldn't be like that, but it's just, you know, festivals this week and Xbox Lives ran out for another and everything's just sort of added up, and it means, you know, we're running 2 GP2 and a reserve in tonight's race, only 7 regulars. It's just disappointing. At the end of the day, it's the division head, so, you know, why is that happening?
Well, both XRL Bobbers and Mr. Ice Cold Andy have come out onto outlap, so we've got a little bit of time to talk in the meantime. For those of you out there watching on the stream, coverage brought to you by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk. Now, for those of you who didn't watch, earlier today, myself, Dan Fisk, and Chris Moss actually did commentary for the Spa Grand Prix. Now, if you're interested in seeing what we talked about and how we covered that, you can, of course, get the audio access on Channel 1, and you can always go somewhere like the iPlayer or on Sky Go, put it on, and then mute the commentary and listen to our ramblings through the race. XRL Bob has taken a very long time to go through the desert here as he's on his outlap in the Ferrari, and I think Ice Cold Andy's going to blast past him. On the stream, Westwick Gaming says hello all, good evening to you, Wes. I know that you joined us for the live coverage of Spa today. And XRL Rusty also says good evening all, as does Miss Brilliant, who's from F4. Normally I'm covering you in the book, so great to see you watching tonight. You just want to, you're just firing off the compliments earlier. That's a good job there, Mr. Fish. Now, in the meantime, Ice Cold Andy going through turn angles very wide, and now let's Bobbitt's back through. This is a bit strange. And about Mr. Indigo is on an outlap too, so we'll go on board with Bobbitt's in the Ferrari of any luck. No, I've gone to his teammate. I love the way you cycle through this game. So Bobbitt's now going through to the penultimate corners as we start the wind-up lap in the qualifying here at Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi. Let's see how XRL Bobbitt's got this. He's feeling confident tonight. He was talking to Brinkley before the race and he felt really good in his pace. And of course you can get messages to us here either through Xbox Live using our gamer tag Swish Mode or XRL Bernie. Oh, very wide and turn 1 from XRL Bobbitt's there. Evidently not learned from his report at India of the corner track extended there. Can't afford to do too much of that this week. Meanwhile, Ryan says hello on the stream as well. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Ryan. And I think we're gonna have to keep it on Channel 2 tonight. I don't know why it's not working. I can't get it to authorise for whatever reason.
Very strange, because of course Channel 1 was where we did it, and iTabs has joined the race.
Yeah.
Why?
Reserve.
Okay, so we've got a reserve who's made it. He's in for quite, not going to qualify, but he's going to start at the back of the field. As XRL Bobbers gets to the end of the first DRS zone, goes a bit wide at the first apex, and that throws it nearly off the circuit as we go to the second DRS zone past the GP2 support paddock in towards this tricky three-pass chicane, where in 2013 we actually saw Sebastian Vettel do some very, very good overtakes. In the meantime, Dan, if you can still log into XRL Channel 1, make sure you put it in the chat box there so people will go on there and wonder why there's no stream can be directed to Channel 2.
I can't, but I will put that on there now. I'm just going to check if there's any people on the Twitch Channel 1 just to make sure.
In the meantime, XRL Bollocks gets into the tricky turn 10 as we go into the final segment, very similar to Monte Carlo in many ways. They try to make it like a street circuit, he goes a bit wide there, and once again, for a driver who felt very confident in his ability here, really struggling to get this round. XRL Bollocks gets a little close to the curve before the final corner, clips the apex absolutely beautifully, slightly wide, and that's a 1:39.0. He won't be happy with that. On the screen, meanwhile, Cotton Socks says, "Hi guys, been a big fan since the early days." Well, thank you very much for that. I'd love to give you an idea of what the times are, but unfortunately we've got that strange glitch tonight where we're getting more like astronomical starlight plus gives deep space coordinates rather than lap times, so we're trying to read it at the end. Andy Marmastrelli gets always shaped as he starts sector 3 on the prime tyres. Going in the opposite direction here, tyres of course this week being the medium compound primes and the soft options. Being a tricky case of what's got the pace here in the desert of Yas Marina. Meanwhile, XRL Rusty saying he's also involved here. Well, actually, Indigo's boxing. He's not going to complete his lap. So XRL LGS, meanwhile, teammates XRL Bobbert. Oh, very slow at the end of sector 3. I think he's backed off deliberately here to avoid giving himself the coverage of JB2503. One of the support drivers normally found in the F4 division goes into the first corner, gets a little wide, tail happy. 1:38.3 is his best lap time so far. He'll be happy with that. Heads into the inside. Good performance from JB2503 as we go into the end of sector 1, usually about 17 seconds here. Gets a bit wide at the first apex to compromise his second corner into the tight hairpin corner. Needs to get really good traction off here with the DRS zone.
3:26 has currently got provisional pole. Unbelievable. He's 4 tenths off last season's pole time, but he's a tenth, or Ciari just pips him actually by a couple of tenths, but these guys are not finding anything on last season's time, so interesting what they would be.
A little bit of a corner cut there for JB2503 as he gets to the end of the DRS section, and he's going to get the flap open for the second point down past the GP2 support paddock here. Very tricky set of corners coming up off camber, very easy to unsettle the car, and JB2503 once again getting too close to the curb, gets poor traction as a result of that, and then goes wide to the inside. Now in the meantime, Mr. Stevo says we have to talk about Rosberg, who deliberately turned into Hamilton, if you believe Hamilton's quote from today's race. For those of you who don't know about that, go on Channel 1 and get the live commentary at me, Dan and Kristen and watch the race. But in the meantime, it's definitely unlikely that Rosberg, very close to the wall for Jamie there, very lucky not to damage an end plate, very wagging it out of shape, all out attack from the Mercedes driver, gets close to the final corner apex, can he get a decent lap time here, gets over the 1:38.2, finds half a tenth but not enough to get a position. Meantime, yes, going back to what the comment was about Rosberg supposedly hitting Hamilton deliberately, I refuse to believe that. I can't see any driver who would come out and openly admit to hitting a driver. I know that, of course, in his day, Ayrton Senna did it, but he waited until at least the championship was over, so there was no way it could impact his results. I mean, would a driver be that stupid?
Well, we all know Lewis Hamilton's a loser, so it's alright. Harsh.
Well, you're just bitter because your favourite driver got shoved off the track by a McLaren and didn't get any points. Meantime, WF1 Raikkonen asks, who do we think will get pole? I really don't know, because these drivers are very, very close.
Where are you getting these comments? Was that an Xbox message?
That was an Xbox Live message, that's quite correct.
I'm actually watching Channel 2 now, so I should have seen that one coming.
Yeah, interesting. Now, remember Mr. Indigo is still on the prime tyres, warming up for a lap here. Don't know anyone's actually on a lap at the moment. Reese is going round, but I think this might be an in-lap. Can't quite tell. And again, the lack of time fix makes it very tricky. Oh, well, Smitty has decided to put an essay up here on this one. We released that Hamilton and Rosberg was a racing incident, though Rosberg could have given up the position. And Rosberg has stronger willpower in Hamilton, because Hamilton's just going to bitch about everything when something bad happens. Meanwhile, Steve-O says he wouldn't put it past Rosberg to do that. I mean, combined with what happened at Monaco, it seems suspicious. Well, again, with no way of proving if Monaco was real. We don't know.
That I think had more of a genuine air about it. I don't think the one today was. I just think that was a racing incident. I don't think there was any malice in that, but...
But in the meantime, Velocity coming up to the end of Sector 1. General assistant to the Team Lotus, and of course, Reese is in second place, punching well above his weight here at Abu Dhabi. The former double world champion back after a long hiatus, shades of aluminium in the BTCC there, and Reese is really showing his hand here so far at Yas Marina. And again, we do have a depleted field here tonight, though. We've only got the 10 runners and riders, only 7 of which are actually from the permanent F1 division. So we're in for a bit of a strange race tonight after the Spa-Francorchamps Classic we saw earlier today. Meanwhile, Cotton Socks simply saying that sadly F1 of recent years is whoever has the best car wins. I get the feeling that that's happened many times before in many kinds of motorsport. Ask any of the Audi drivers who've won at Le Mans. I'm pretty sure they'll tell you that their car was the best in the field as well. A lot of comments about Hamilton here. Smitty Lad saying that Hamilton's been a whining child since 2009. Velocity into Sector 3, goes under the bridge at the Grand Hotel here in the Yas Marina, goes a little wide, almost into the wall, just before the pit entrance. Very strange pits here, where you can almost easily go through the final corner instead of the lane, but he aims for the pit lane to use his apex, misses the inside, gets a decent run, and a 37.9 puts him second performance. XRL F1 meanwhile trying to respond on the option tyres, goes a little wide and out of shape, really loses grip in that Ferrari, and this does not look good. Meanwhile, the real surprise is Ice Cold Andy down his 7th place on a 39.6. This is the track where you would have expected Andy to do really well.
And he was the one who set the lap record last season with 37.7 in qualifying. So to be almost 2 seconds down on that is pretty disappointing.
Oh, WF1 Raikkonen says the Xbox Switch keeps on pausing and playing WTF. Absolutely no idea about that. I mean, I know, of course, we are also available through the internet browsers. Ice Cold Andy on his final chance here into the triple chicane at the end of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3. Gets a decent run on the curves, actually. Does quite a good job there. It's the tight, tricky, almost 90-degree corner after it. Gets quite a little bit of traction on the outside. Gets it too close to the curve, though. Screws a bit of speed as he goes through 9 into 10. Decent on the apex, very patient on the throttle here. Ice Cold Andy trying to get the car pointed inside. He knows that he's got to get on near the front if he has any chance of getting back into this title race. Into the penultimate corner, avoids getting dragged too far wide. Into the final apex. Is he going to get a decent time? It looks beautiful through the final corner for the finish line. A 38.9, nowhere near his best.
I could do better, come on.
Tomorrow night, viewers, make sure you're watching qualifying so that Danfist can put his money where his mouth is.
I'll put any money where my mouth is on that.
So, Velocity now into his second one. Miss Brilliant says that she can't get into even get into the 140s on this track. Don't feel alone. I can barely get into the 142, so there's a reason why I'm retired. And Ciara, meanwhile, is the final car over the line. And interestingly, we only had 7 cars qualify. And then Mr. Indigo, XRL Stewart, all not qualifying. F1 Nige not qualifying. So a bit of a strange one. We've got a bit of an unusual field here. Ciara, though, looking odds on for victory from that position. They're good pace. But Velocity only 1/100th of a second behind. Really close. Smitty on me, we'll talk about the Spa Grand Prix earlier today. Says this driver, there was a tie between Daniel Ricciardo and Bottas, and Raikkonen would have been one hands down if he got on the podium. Yeah, it kind of shade to Schumacher at 2011 Montreal, really. I was hoping Raikkonen got on because it's long overdue. And meanwhile, reject of the day, he's called Hamilton. I'd say the reject of the day is actually Roman Grosjean. He came behind Max Chilton in a Lotus. It doesn't get more rejectful than that.
Oh, don't say a Steve-O's a Hamilton fan. I can't. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Cotton Sox says he hopes that Reese wins. He's been a massive fan of him since the old days. Well, Reese has obviously shown he's got the potential in the past many times before, and he has been a double world champion, and he's got good pace here. He's not too far behind his teammate, and in the top 3. If he got good tyre wear, he might well be a dark horse of victory here.
Well, Cotton Sox, one-time Nürburgring runner-up to Red Snapper. He'll know what I mean when I say that. He was there in the old days, season 1, season 2. I think maybe even the start of season 3 he was there. Until
Spinning saying that Grosjean retired though. Well, so did Lewis Hamilton, and you chose him as your reject, so I'm choosing Grosjean as mine. Meantime, Steve-O says Rosberg seemed very suspicious and tight-lipped after the race. I reckon he doesn't give a beep about the team. For someone who's stayed there since when they had a very poor car in 2012, I kind of think you're wrong on that one. So in the meantime then, we'll go back to the race on track here at Abu Dhabi and give you a rundown of the grid. We've got Sayara in first, Velocity second, Reese 26 in third, Jamie 2503. Good performance from him in fourth place, and XRL LGS will be pleased to be in fifth position, with Ice Cold Andy disappointingly behind him in sixth place. XRL Bobbitt's a man who had a lot of confidence going into the race. He might well be on his second force, he only could manage seventh. Then Enema Mr. Indigo chose not to qualify, and neither did XRL Stewart. Then we've got a bit of an issue here. Writer's Type, one of the stewards, is 10th on the grid. Then you've got F1 Nigel in 11th. Then you've got Jigsaw's in 12th with both of us, and then Taps behind us both. So we've got a real mixed up grid with the stewards getting involved in the action. This could make the short run down to turn 1 very exciting indeed. There are a couple of comments coming through on the stream. WF1 Rise saying that Twitch is now brilliant and good luck for Reese to get into the top 2. Hopefully.
Really nice to see Reese where he is. I mean, I keep saying it every week, but you look at some of the performances that he's put in, and he's not necessarily got the correct results that he deserves, or because of incidents and things like that. Even last week at India, he got caught up in quite a lot, which wasn't necessarily his fault. So, he's up there this week. If he can get a good start and get away from maybe the likes of Jamie and LGS and Andy, he's got a real solid claim at a podium this week, as long as he keeps it in the lines.
Well, Jordan is saying that he believes it's going to be Jamie for the victory, and that Rosberg knew what he was doing. Well, he might know what he was doing, but there's conflicting reports of exactly what he was doing. One camp says that he deliberately hit another driver, another one says that he chose not to back out of a move. Either way, you can't say he was completely innocent, but for me, it's not as serious as everyone's blowing it up. And maybe he should have got a penalty, but ultimately the stewards chose, for whatever reason, to not get involved. Now, let's get our focus back on the circuit here today. Abu Dhabi, one of the tracks where you can be encouraged to go a little wide, hence why we've got the extra stewards watching tonight. But with the depleted field, we should see some exciting driving, and the best way for us to know about that is to get out onto the circuit and bring you live, uninterrupted coverage courtesy of GTO Mega Racing and KBOD.co.uk. All action live, exclusive on Twitch.tv.
We've got a good amount of people watching, so I think 22 people are watching the Channel 2 stream. That must be getting near a Channel 2 record, I think. Which is great.
Yeah, well, it's under suspicious circumstances, really, isn't it? With Channel 1 not involved. So, in the meantime, now, Obi4 asks the question, Alonso, is he the best all-round driver, and do we agree? I'd say he's one of the best all-round drivers. He's definitely proven his ability with the slower Ferrari and the slower Renault. Let's not forget he got that awful Renault in 2009 onto the podium at Singapore. So Alonso's proven time and again he's got great coverage. We'll return to your question with Dan's side of the argument once we've got the first couple of laps out of the way, because I don't want to be interrupting the stream with his gushing. So Ciaro, a pole position for the McLaren, being chased quickly by Velocity, and then right at the back of the grid where I belong, reject of the race and bringing up the rear. So we're going to be giving you uninterrupted coverage. Keep your comments coming in, both on Channel 1, and also you can send it to myself or XRL Bernie from Xbox Live. But once these 5 lights go out, we will be racing. And it's lights out, and away they go. Short run down towards turn 1. The question is, can Ciara keep his lead? He's being pressured by Velocity, who's up on the inside already. And Velocity makes a lunge on the inside, takes out the bollard. Ciara goes slightly off the circuit in front wheels going into turn 3. Ciara's going to be under pressure from Velocity here. Velocity's managed to keep in second place, and Reese is managing to hang on as well. Velocity trying to make a move. At the end of sector 1, there's a big break. Ciara turns across him. Slight contact. Reese goes through the chicane. He's going to have to let his teammate through there. So we've got Velocity in second place, big bunch of cars at the hairpin. Reese 26 in the Lotus, keeping his position in P4. And then Ice Cold Andy already onto 4th place. Great recovery from him. Jamie 2003 is now currently showing in 5th place. Then XRL F1 in 6th. Great performance so far. Oh, what was that for Jamie? Went totally through the chicane there. And Bubba's ended up almost side-podding Ice Cold Andy. And Bubba's now has to take a pair of them here, as Jamie's had to let them both back through. And also, we've got I-Tax, I believe, in the Sister Williams getting through the cluster of cars. It's F1 sorry, in the Sister Williams looking at the inside of Ice Cold Andy. Here we go. And what's this great move from Emma Straining on the outside? But F1 is just able to resist the move at this time. The old Fox hanging in there. And Jamie gets on the inside now of Emma Indigo.
Andy's had a decent start. Bobbitt's into 4th, but this is just what Reese would have wanted. There's a slight gap building between the first 3 and Bobbitt's. Bobbitt's is starting to close that gap again, but good start from the Lotuses to keep their position.
The big loser here is XRL LGS. He's down to 9th position.
Ooh, yeah.
He's really lost out.
Jamie's a big loser as well. He was 4th, now 7th.
Lots of comments about track extending and dangerous driving on the street. You guys are getting into it, we love it. Keep your comments coming in. Bobbitt's believed that Jamie was hit by Bobbitt's. Well, that will be reviewed after the race, of course. We've got different views on the track at the moment. And we've got Reese 26 trying to close up to his teammate Velocity. And Ciara's starting to pull away from this pair in that McLaren. So Ciara really underlined his pace in the league so far.
So, having said that, Velocity knows as long as he finishes this race, he doesn't have to necessarily win. He's going to close that championship gap to Fearless because Fearless is away. So I believe the gap's something like 6 points or something. So this could be a big swing in the championship as long as he stays in the game. And obviously,
F1 trying to get close to XRL Bobbitt's, who's just got the legs. And interestingly, going to Reese, he's closed up very much to his teammate Velocity. Took a look at the end of the DRS zone, even without DRS, and Reese is much more comfortable than his teammate, deploying the curves already. And Velocity under real pressure here. Counter-attacks with his own curves, attack down the GP2 straight towards the triple chicane. Reese 26 pulls to the outside, getting loads of messages from Xbox Live. I'll try and get through to them as we get through the action. But Velocity goes deep, misses the chicane, and Reese into 2nd position. Wow! Miss Brilliant asking on the stream, is this 100%? Yes, it is. So you'll get to see the whole Twilight Glory. They start in the dead of day and they finish in the dead of night. So that's going to be a different change to the conditions at the end of the race. F1 Nige now, close right to the back of his teammate, Ice Cold Andy, who's look at Velocity's gone wide. Oh, Roberts hit him and the side pod glitched. And the Velocity now has been spun right to the back of the field. Unbelievable close driving there, big mistake. And either Roberts hit him because he made a mistake, or if Velocity just lost it and Roberts couldn't avoid him.
I don't think he could have avoided him.
If you're watching my stream, Dan, mute it, because you're getting an echo playing back 30 seconds later. And I get the feeling that the viewers will not be happy with that. As F1 Nige gets into the tower of Ice Cold Andy towards the end of sector 1, trying to close onto the 12 Bobbitt. But going into the 5th corner, you can see there that Ice Cold Andy's just about getting the traction. But F1 Nige really showing comfortable pace. Both of these drivers, of course, ex-world champions. The old guard have come back to play here in the desert of Abu Dhabi and are so far doing a great job. On the stream, Mr. Steele saying, great start already, better drivers than Rosberg. Please let it go, Steve-O. Hamilton's just whining and you know it. DRS low on F1 Nige. He tries to close onto his teammate who's got the same advantage on XRL Bobbitt, who's not close enough to make an attack on the back of the Ferrari. Behind them, we've got Jamie, who's now fallen down the field. He's in 6th place at the moment and being pressured by MMR Mr. Indigo in the Red Bull. DRS over from MMR Mr. Indigo as he looks at the back of Jamie. Is up ahead, Ice Cold Andy and F1 Nige. Take a look at Bobbitt. Neither driver close enough to take advantage.
But look how much Alexia stands. Oh, Andy losing a
Big
hold.
weave from Ice Cold Andy there. Huge loss of traction. F1 Nigel got a big grin when he saw that. And he's thinking about a move at the inside of turn 9. It's potentially possible to overtake here, but he's just too far behind to make the lunge.
Reese is keeping Ciaru very honest here, actually. Possibly even closing that gap at the front.
Anyway, Mr. catches as close as he can to Jamie, who's trying to catch up to both F1 Nige and also to Mr. Ice Cold Andy. And F1 Nige has done a great job. Meantime, Willie kept close. F1 Nige on the outside of his teammate, trying to go wide into turn 1. This will be a brave move, and what a pass from F1 Nige. Oh, I'm not sure how close to the white lines that was, though. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and get through some of these messages. I've got quite a few here, so bear with me if I don't get through to you straight away. Jordan asking, whose prediction for top 3? I'd say you can't look further than Ciaru and also the Reese 26 and maybe XRL Bubba, so I know I'm Mr. Indigo. Ryan, meanwhile, is back in Reese 26 to win. WF1 Raikkonen asks, how many stops do we reckon? I'm going to go with 4 here. High tyre wear and the softer tyres. And Speed Demon was saying that Lotus are very prone to curb fling on this track, hence velocity. I'm guessing what he means there is hitting the curb and losing all control, as Jordan has got Enema Mr. Indigo up his trumpet.
Nige is in trouble. He's in P5. He's got 2 drivers behind. I think that's Jamie and Indigo. We haven't covered him much. He's 3rd in the championship and will gain
and
in.
Indigo's on the prime tyres and going around the outside of Jamie. They're side by side shades of Sebastian Vettel and Jensen Button in 2013 here.
Very close.
Little bit of contact, and then Jamie went through the shaded gate as a result. Gets a better run on the back of F1 9. Jamie all over the back. Over Williams going into turn 9, makes an undercut towards the left hand side. Knives tries to cover him off, and Jamie gets a big lunge and goes through and goes too deep. And F1 9's able to drive back around the outside of him.
Indigo's looking quite good considering he's on the primes. If he can clear a couple of these guys, he'll be in a very good position.
Indeed he can, and already Jamie's gone wide at the penultimate corner, so anyway Mr. Indigo goes thank you very much and goes right through into the final corner to take 6th position. Has Jamie got the DRS? No, he hasn't, but he's still closing up either way. And then anyway Mr. Indigo prone to a lunge at the inside, goes very wide there, and Jamie's going to go, okay, I can take the position back, thank you very much.
But Indigo's only 10-11 points behind in the championship battle, and he has not won a race this year. What a surprise. It's good to see that level of consistency.
Shades of KK Rosberg there, not winning a race but still winning the title. F1 Nice trying to get close to the back of his teammate Mr. Ice Cold Andy as he gets into the DRS zone here, and he's going to have the flat and the curves to attack, so into team rivalry. Here we go, getting close to the DRS activation zone. There goes the flap and a little bit of curves as well. Gets into the toe down towards the turn. The chicane where it's very easy to go wide if you're not careful on the brakes. Who's going to be waiting? Looks like Mr. Ice Cold Andy able to resist. Straight line speed of the Sister Williams too much. Meanwhile, Cotton Socks has been trolling for an argument on the stream here, saying Vettel there's a great driver. F1 Nice using the second DRS zone and the curves, and that was as easy as taking candy for a baby. Goes right past Ice Cold Andy into the triple chicane. And meanwhile, behind them, Jamie is still under pressure from NMR Mr. Indigo in the Red Bull, and XRL GS meanwhile is still keeping in contact with these guys, despite falling down the field to 8th place.
He fell back, didn't he? But he's now found his place, and he's keeping on the back of these guys, to be fair.
So Jamie in the Mercedes, keeping closer to the back of Ice Cold Andy and F1 Nice just to go under the Grand Hotel into the penultimate series of Sector 3. F1 Nice lost traction there, and Ice Cold Andy goes back through. Jamie might fancy a cheeky view at the inside here, possibly cut the corner, didn't take the position into the final corner. F1 Nice should get DRS here on his teammate though.
No, can we remember slowest qualifying time was? I think it was Andy, was it, the slowest one in qualifying?
I think it was actually NMR Mr. Indigo on the prime tyres. Oh, yeah, and it was in the 38s, but again, prime tyres.
I think I saw Andy do a 38.7. The quickest time was a 37.9, which was actually 2 tenths slower than last season, so.
Jamie getting closer to the back of F1 Nice. It goes into the hairpin.
Smithy's asked about your opinion on the F1 2014 hot lap. We'll get to that because I think there could be some action down this straight with Indigo watching the battle between Jamie, Nige and Andy.
Yeah, look at this. F1 Dives pulls out the slipstream, and Ice Cold Andy's under pressure here. As Jamie's going to fancy getting up the inside as well. Potentially, he's going to get mugged twice, 3 times even. Because Ice Cold Andy went through the chicane. Enema Mr. Indigo's going to go by, and Enema Mr. Indigo's great traction off the corner, and he's going to blast right past the Mercedes of Jamie and look into the tunnel. F1 Dives. Enema Mr. Indigo in a great position here. Into the triple chicane, gets on the brakes, lock up from F1 Dives. But Enema Mr. Indigo not close enough to attack here. And Jamie, the spread of traction off the middle of the chicane, dives on the inside! And whoa! Both drivers giving just the even room here, heading into turn 9. Has anyone really got the chance to fight back? Yes, he has! He's going to hang on for turn 10 on the brakes, goes into the inside! Still side by side with Jamie, has to give up the move! I'm knowing maybe he hasn't, trying to get him underneath the Grand Hotel! This is incredible stuff here! Jamie and Enema Mr. Indigo still side by side! Going into the penultimate corner, Enema Mr. Indigo has to yield! And Jamie takes the position!
Some great moves there, absolutely fantastic driving. I personally thought Indigo was going to be the winner of that, but he just loses out. But in the end, he does gain a place to the Andy of the Williams. So these prime tyres are starting to come into their own now. The options probably starting to get towards the end of their life.
Indeed. Now, just briefly, I'm going to answer your question. I saw Nico Hulkenberg in a Force India go flat through Eau Rouge in the rain. My opinion, the new hot lap is crap.
Yeah, he did go flat on Eau Rouge in the rain. Well, that's pointless. It's not going to happen in real life with today's cars, but
they didn't even do it in the dry until the very end of the race. And Enema Mr. Indigo, the DRS open on the back of Jamie, pulls onto the left-hand side. I think he's going to try a late-braking move here, and he's got to be careful he doesn't get mugged under the second DRS point. Gets past the Mercedes, gets a little wide there, and Jamie's going to have a better traction to possibly make a move. He's flipped the car! Jamie's lost control, he's facing the wrong way, and Velocity must have gone into the pits, and now in P7 goes past him.
He was involved in an incident at the start, wasn't he, with Bobbert?
Oh, of course he was, yeah, he got hit by XRL Bobbert. And meanwhile, now we've got Velocity's 7th place trying to recover, as we've got Ice Cold Andy in the Williams chasing after Enema Mr. Indigo. So Jamie's choked under the pressure, hit the curb on the inside, got it completely wrong. Meanwhile, Steve-O asking
what's prime runners, by the way. Taps is running P9 on the prime. He's some way behind Indigo, but he's still doing decently. But
he's got Jamie all over his back now. The Mercedes driver looking at the inside of turn 10. Oh, they brushed tyres and hit the side pod. No side pod glitch, fortunately. Bit elbows out there from Jamie, possibly a bit unsporting, but he manages to keep the position. Meanwhile, Steve asking a question to you. He's got a few guys already in the pits at lap 7. Seems very early to be in the box now. Who's in the box there? We've got XRL Bobberts in, and I think that might be Enema Mr. Indigo. No, it's Reese 26. Reese 26 dives in early to get onto the prime tyres. So Ice Cold Andy now dives into 4th place as a result of that, chasing after Enema Mr. Indigo, who's currently running P3. Now, I'm going to finally get to your question, Steve-O. Bernie is asking, what's the penalty for 3 penalty points?
I'm assuming that's 3 points on licence, and if that's the case, it's a 20-second penalty.
I can't think of any other reason why you get a penalty for points, so yeah, we can start.
I'm assuming that's the licence points he's talking about, I'm not sure.
XRL obviously 10th place after his pit stop. Meanwhile, I had a message from XRL Patronus. Oh, and WF1 Raikkonen, who won a star 4 times? Kimi Raikkonen. That was easy. Meanwhile, XRL Patronus, brutal overtaken fight by Jamie. I agree completely. And you also have to give props there to Enema Mr. Indigo, who showed him the respect and also had the faith in him to be able to do it. And Tats is now attacking the back, you're quite correct. But Tats got poor traction there, and XRL Bobbert fancies a move on the Toro Rosso driver on the fresher prime tyres into the triple chicane. DRS will open, is Bobbert's close enough to attack? Yes, he is, because Tats makes a critical error and goes wide and off the circuit. So a bit of an anti-climax for the Toro Rosso driver there. Meanwhile, looking up ahead, I believe that's for Reese 26, looking at the inside of this, that's Stewart in the system McLaren, and he dives around the inside of turn 9. Can he make the swing into 10? Yes, he can, as Stewart tries to go. Bobbers goes way off the circuit. What was that for a Bobbers there? Not quite sure what happened.
Velexi has got ahead of Reese then, because Reese did get part. Oh no, Velexi.
Reese went into the pits.
So Velexi is yet to stop because of that early incident, so his tyres will be suffering.
Maybe Bobbers, as commentators, cursed himself here because he said he had a lot of confidence going into this race, and so far it's not turning out into a performance whatsoever. Enema Mr. Indigo, meanwhile, I think he's been passed by Ice Cold Andy. Because anyway, Strindigo's now in 4th place, and indeed, Ice Cold Andy is in 3rd.
Yeah, he was getting quite close over the last couple of laps. He was slowly bringing that gap in. So Indigo must have made an error, but it's quite surprising to see Andy is still out on 9 laps in on these options. So, yeah, I wouldn't have expected to be much longer. I'd have expected
Steve-O, that's not very nice, and I get the feeling Stuart will be out for revenge after that comment, saying, ha ha ha, bye, Stuart. Yes, that's not really what we do. Meanwhile, 29 of you watching, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Coverage, of course, brought to you by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk on Twitch. Now, Reese has called up to his teammate Velocity, and he's got the Kurz and DRS. There should be an easy pass, and you get the feeling Velocity should let him through here, but Velocity's deployed his Kurz to fight back, and I don't think he's going to make this very easy for the former double world champion. Reese goes on the outside, trying to get on the brakes to chop around the outside, but he's running out of room onto the marbles and has to let his teammate stay ahead of him.
But they've got to surely think of a team perspective here and get Reese ahead. Reese is the one who should have a challenge at the race win. Don't get him in the way of anything. Give him a chance to actually have a go.
XRL Jess has passed his teammate Bobbers. Has Miss Brilliant asked, did Miss Bobbers lose his wing? Nobody has lost an end plate. He's probably a bit lucky to actually get away with just an end plate with how far he went off.
I think Taps lost his end plate a little bit earlier on. Don't know why, but
Reese 26 still all over the back of his teammate into the penultimate corner, but Velocity peels into the pits and Reese will be like, thank God for that, as he gets out of his way. F1 Division into the pits, going for another set of prime tyres, having been on the options originally. Now Ciara's into the box and out. He should retain 3rd position, going through this unique pit exit that goes under the circuit in the tunnel, so he's going to be easily in the net lead here, as we've got Edmar Mr. Indigo and Ice Cold Andy in 1st and 2nd.
Lead by about a 1.5 seconds. Reese is no more than, you know, a 1.5 seconds behind now. Look at that. If you get on board, that's not much. That's nearly DRS.
Cornsox has put a link up on the chat box, but I can't access that because I'll block the stream. So maybe you want to take a look at that, Dan, and tell us what he's covering. Something from BBC Sport.
Nico Rosberg could be punished by the FIA after the Lewis Hamilton crash.
Well, the FIA had the chance to put any retroactive penalty.
Is apparently admitted to deliberately colliding with him.
Well, I saw a post on Twitter earlier from Jenny Cow saying that she's spoken to the team and they confirmed to him. And then Toto Wolff, if you go on Eurosport or Autosport, same article, as Velocity uses DRS to blast past Taps, and this should be an easy stop into the corner to keep the position. Indeed, it is. She had saying that initially they backed Hamilton's story, but then Toto Wolff has come out backing Rosberg, saying that what he said was that he deliberately didn't back out of the move to prove a point. So I get the feeling there might be an investigation by the FIA, but I think Rosberg is going to be found in favour here. I can't see him admitting to deliberately hitting a driver, because if he does, well, surely that'll be a free race ban. The FIA can't allow someone to race if they're deliberately causing incidents.
Oh, that's right. Yes, for sure. So, you can't be doing that. I hope the race results stay the same, but you know, I'm just purely I'd rather see Nico Rosberg win the championship than Lewis Hamilton, so that's probably why I'm saying that.
Well, Ciara now is all over the back of Edmar Mr. Indigo on the fresher prime tyres. Edmar Mr. Indigo, of course, started on the prime, so you'd expect him to be coming in around lap 15, maybe lap 16 on those primes, so he's going to fall behind Ciara here. The reverse strategy not yet working for Edmar Mr. Indigo.
And he's still going on those options at the front.
He's not being caught by Edmar Mr. Indigo. That's the strange thing. I don't know, maybe Ice Cold Andy learned from last year. He set a blistering lap time, but he made that terrible tyre wear, so has changed his setup, and now Ciara with DRS pretty much waves as he goes past Edmar Mr. Indigo. That was shades of Hamilton on Button at the Hockenheim ring this season. Easy pass on the DRS there, but Edmar Mr. Indigo may have DRS to try and have a go back. The question is, has Ciara got it on Ice Cold Andy?
He's got a lot of curves. He's got a good half of curves, I think.
He's also got DRS and Ice Cold Andy, so the advantage negated as he gets into the triple chicane. And Ice Cold Andy now under pressure from Ciara. Get the feeling Ice Cold Andy realises he's not really racing Ciara, and he's probably thinking more about keeping on the steps of the podium as we head into turn 9. Meanwhile, there's a cluster of cars battling lower down the field. I would love to cover it, but unfortunately I've got to cover the battle for the lead as Ciara goes a bit wide at turn 10. That allows Andy to stay out. Now, will Andy go into the box here?
I'd be surprised if he goes another lap. Those tyres must just be dead.
But Sierra's not yet got past him though. That's the thing, if they were dead tyres, you'd expect it to be wheel spinning. And no, he's staying out. What tyres has Ice Cold Andy got on here? Has he got Bridgestone tyres on here, I wonder? Because he's able to still resist. Sierra's trying to attack onto the outside of turn 1. But no, Ice Cold Andy holds him off. Unbelievable.
Bide your time, Sierra went into a DRS.
Oh, big slide for Sierra there! It's the inside curve. What car control! So keep that. That was a sensational piece of driving from Sierra. Really driving that through turn 4.
You know what? He's still got a great chance of making this move. He's even
and he's down on the inside of the hairpin. He's not waiting for the DRS activation zone. And that should be a case of bye-bye, Andy. Meanwhile, moving further back, we've got Enema Sprindigo under big pressure from Reese 26. But up ahead, Ice Cold Andy's still side by side with Sierra. Gets into the slipstream. And I think Ice Cold Andy's going to have a look here. No, he's too far back to make the move. As behind him, Reese 26 uses the DRS to pass Enema Sprindigo.
And you know what? He's going to have another look at Andy, surely. Andy's just not getting good traction out of the corners now. Reese has got the DRS as well.
And so as Mr. Rindigo is too far back. Reese 26 using it down the inside. Meanwhile, a few comments on the stream. Connor Rice saying, evening lads, good evening to you. And Samson BFC also jumping in. And Ice Cold Andy gets really bad tail some at the end of the triple chicane. And then Reese dies up the inside at turn 8. He's going to try and wall the deck around the outside. He's got the high ground here, surely. But Ice Cold Andy's going to try and have a go. Backs off and realises that he's got to watch out for Enema Mr. Indigo, the person he's really racing here.
Reese is keeping the pressure on Sierra. That gap no more than around 2 seconds.
Meanwhile, Enema Mr. Indigo, if we break 30 viewers on the stream, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Enema Mr. Indigo goes into the penultimate corner, and Ice Cold Andy finally gives up his bulletproof tyres to get into the pit. Drip from Enema Mr. Indigo there, really struggling to get the power down. Meanwhile, Steve asking, on the note of Rosberg, if the FIA don't go any further, but Mercedes want to internally punish him, how would they do it? Lose FP1 to a test driver, they don't pay. I get the feeling that what they do is they probably give him, if Mercedes wanted to punish him, they probably have to do it in a way that hurts him, and that'd be a race off. Because of course Anthony Davidson is their reserve driver, and he's at every race courtesy of Sky Sports. So if Mercedes wanted to give a punishment, that's probably the way what to do it. As F1 dies on the inside, I believe that's XRL Bobbert, gets a little bit of a punt there on the inside. XRL Bobbert's trying to resist on the outside. Curse deployed by Bobbert in the sister Ferrari, as XRL LGS has quietly got himself to 5th place now. Done a really good job here, and XRL Bobbert's on the DRS. No curse deployed, but he's managed to catch on to F1 Nige. Gets on the brakes, and that's a great move, resisting the returning champion. So hang on to 6th place, and now F1 Nige falls down the order, but he's got a DRS on the back of Bobbert, but you'd expect the Bobbert will have it on XRL LGS.
It's best saying this is one of the best F1 division streams in a long time, as the Ferraris are scrapping out LGS and Bobbert's having a go into the triple chicane, and it looks as if that should just hold. But good evening to all of you watching tonight. We've got a name, we might as well give shout outs to everyone. We've got A Stevo, we've got Cotton Socks, we've got Crazy Fish, Eyes the Best, Hazza, Bazza 99, Jigsaw's Connor, Miss Brilliant, Mr. Stevo, Noob 3 Gamer, Rash 730, Sam's the Sim Mythical, Smithy Lad, Weswick Gaming, F1 Speed, myself and Rusty, and a whole bunch of guests as well. Great to see such a good turnout and such a decent race so far given by most of the drivers out there.
And what's surprising with that note, of course, is that we've only got a small grid. 10 drivers are all we've got here today, but sometimes less is more. At the end of the day, it's quality over quantity. And the F1 division is certainly showing that tonight. As XRL Bobbert and F1 Nige both go off at turn 1 into turn 2 and 3. And that's allowed XRL LGS to get a little bit of legs on him here. And F1 Nige will be looking at the back of Bobbert. And is he going to make a move already at the end of sector 1? Surely not. He's having to back out of that. We only want the DRS. Problem is, Bobbert's more than likely will get that on XRL LGS's teammate. As F1 Nige trying a wide karting line with Fernando Alonso using that Rivage at the Spa Grand Prix today, getting the curse deployed down towards the DRS activation zone. But look at Bobbert, he's already pulled ahead here as he gets into the back of XRL LGS. There goes the flat disc to toe. LGS pulls to the middle of the circuit. That's not going to help you now. As XRL Bobbert gets wide around the outside, goes too deep, goes onto the marbles, goes onto the circuit. He's going to wrestle the LGS through, and that's surely going to let F1 Nige through. And F1 Nige now attacking XRL GS. Goes to the outside, goes to deploy DRS lap over. And F1 Nige is going to be a big profiter here. Into P4, but XRL GS resists. They lock tyres onto the inside LGS. Going up the title line into the chicane. F1 Nige tries around the outside and out-muscles the Ferrari driver beautifully.
Great driving from the pair of them. And great overtake there from F1 Nige.
Meanwhile, Conroy saying that Nigel and Williams, teammates to Ice Cold Andy, never thought I'd see that. Well, two world champions, two former legends in the league, racing side by side as F1 Nige just wet. I don't know if you'd let XRL just through there. No, he's gone wide. And Bullets now's going to get underneath of F1 Nige after great driving, has lost it immediately. But then Bullets goes up the circuit.
Oh, God.
Bullets lost all traction here. It's like he's lost all confidence in the car. So this is crazy driving.
They're basically just saying, no, I don't want to lead this group of cars. Why don't you go lead? And they're just sharing it out. No one can push on.
All the drivers trying to protect the tyres, trying to protect themselves from the DRS. And unfortunately here we got drivers going off the circuit left and right. But what action being done for Ashwood. Meanwhile, Conor is asking an interesting question. Are we going to do commentary for the actual Monza race? Well, today we didn't have the biggest turnout, but maybe if a few of you guarantee you'll watch, we'll look into it, because it was actually a lot of fun to do our version of it.
I think maybe just the race, instead of like a practice and a quali, do a little bit of a build-up or something, that might work out.
That sounds like a good idea to me. What's your opinion on the stream? Get your comments in there. Whether you're going to be using the chat box, and of course, don't forget, if you're watching via the Twitch app on Xbox Live, you can send messages to myself, Swishbone, or to XRL Bernie, preferably XRL Bernie, because he's not actually doing the streaming, so he can look at them a little easier. Meanwhile, Westwood Game is saying he will definitely tune in if we covered it. Great to see that. You did watch today, so thank you very much for that. And also to Spinning on 56, he was one of the people watching, as was Ciaru early on. He was watching both FP3 and the qualifying. Well, you people who enjoyed it. Conor is saying he watched it and enjoyed it. Meanwhile, Spinning asking maybe do race reviews. Potentially something, because of course I'll be hanging up the microphone in terms of XRL itself, and that might be something you may see in the future.
All you got to do, really, is get your Skybox or whatever, TiVo box or whatever you've got, just put it back about 20-30 seconds, and then just put on, like, on your laptop, voiceover commentary. And, you know, that's just as good as a... Well, I'm not sure if it's just as good as a BBC one, or a Sky one, but
no, it's not as good as the BBC one. It's better.
Exactly.
F1 Nige getting into turn 1, goes a little wide on the outside there, really struggling to keep that traction down in that Williams. This cluster of cars, these three, are providing sensational racing. And F1 Nige, big move off the track there from XRL LGS, gets poor traction as a result into the end of sector 1, goes a little wide there, a bit too deep, and F1 Nige will be sizing the back of him up. But the question is, what about XRL Bobbert here? Look at this, F1 Nige not waiting for the inside DRS zone, he's going already, and XRL Bobbert has been caught out by now.
He'll get the DRS for good measure, surely.
Oh, he's locked tyres on XRL LGS. That's going to slow him down, though, and XRL Bullets will close the gap there. LGS not giving up. These guys giving each other literally no room into the chicane. And now XRL Bullets might use his teammate as a potential tag team move to get past F1 Nige. A bit of old shake and bake if you've watched that film Talladega Nights. Colours being deployed there, DRS active for both Ferraris. And I get the feeling we might see the double slingshot effect here as XRL Bullets tries to split XRL LGS and F1 Nige. LGS going around the outside trying to repeat the move F1 Nige did on him. He gets poor traction on the inside. F1 Nige gets poor traction on the outside. XRL Bobbers not able to pounce and take advantage though.
Firm but fair, I think is what you could say from F1 Nige there. Just doing enough.
Definitely, yeah. Both drivers put on a clinic here as the sun started to go down. You can see the lower angle of the sunlight here. We will be entering night mode in the next 15 or laps or so, and that'll change the dynamic a bit. Meanwhile, a few messages received on Xbox Live. I'm going to try and get through these as quickly as I can. First of all, for WF1...
me if you can, and then I can, you know, then we don't lose any action. If you can...
Well, WF1 Raikkonen saying, which team do we think will do good in the future? I'm backing Marussia on that one. Meanwhile, Petronas says he'd watch a live stream of Monza, and WF1 Raikkonen chasing a response to his earlier message. If you're going to send messages, try and send them to XRL Bernie if you can. If you're not going to on your friends list, he's on by. Find him that way.
Then we get to keep the best of the action. This has been some decent battling around Abu Dhabi. As the sun starts to set, you will see in the next sort of 10-15 laps it will be changing towards the night conditions of this Grand Prix. But the top two have really made a pretty decently sized gap to the rest. And I tell you what, Reese has done a good job holding that gap to around 3-4 seconds for Ciara. And the pit
got Ciara going through the paddock at the GP2 section, then Ciara reached not too far behind him. And F1 Nigel doing a good job in the Williams ahead of these two battling Ferraris. XRL Bobbers, who's just got past his teammate on the DRS, but LGS will have the same flap action down towards the triple chicane. So has XRL Bobbers just been passed to be repassed here, I wonder? Into the triple chicane. Oh, LGS hits his teammate, sends him through the chicane, so he has to back off. And that's now got him prone to an attack by Mr. Ice Cold Andy. The Ferraris are in a Williams double sandwich here, we'll see.
Oh, I'm back there. I'm afraid that a bit of lag.
Oh, Con Socks took a terrible comment on the stream saying, let's hope these F1 cars have headlights. Oh dear, you can tell someone who's a noob when it comes to F1 and they say a comment like that.
Oh, this thing is putting my leg, he knows.
Into the penultimate corner, Ice Cold Andy goes a little wide there over the outside line as XRL Bobbers dives into the pits. So he's already boxed early, trying to go for the undercut maybe on F1 Nige. As Ice Cold Andy gets into the slipstream behind XRL LGS now.
Valexi and Indigo, this is a championship battle.
Mistake from the Ferrari.
And 9.
We'll get back and cover that in a second. I just want to keep an eye on Ice Cold Andy as he goes around the outside of the Ferraris on the option tyres now. Ice Cold Andy, he's gone for a reverse strategy, attacking as much as possible. A few messages have just been received. I'll try and get through some into a second. But first of all, Ice Cold Andy going through the hairpin. Going to have a great chance going off the corner. Kerr's going to be deployed here to attack the back of that Ferrari with the DRS. And you get a feel this should be a job done very, very quickly indeed. But LGS fights back, deploying all his Kerrs. Then goes the flap, and they're still side by side. Andy's not closing the gap here, heading into the chicane. I think he's just going to get past as he gets onto the inside. But LGS tries to go wall of Death Star around the outside, unable to resist as JB203 catches up in the Mercedes, now running in P6. Deploying the Kerrs, going towards the DRS flap. There goes the action from LGS. Up goes the drive, but I don't think he's going to catch Andy here, and Andy's going to retain 4th place.
Alexi and Indigo switching places at the DRS, but Indigo is going to lose it here. Alexi trying to get on the inside, but Indigo just holds and wheel to wheel going through the triple chicane. Valexi somehow muscles his way back, but Indigo is not finished here. In P8, he's got great drive going through the double right-hander going into the hotel section, but just
oh, Velocity very early on the brakes there, nearly caught Indigo out. Very close to running into the back of him and losing his front wing. But Indigo able to cover that off here. Championship battle, so we'll cover this for a little while. On the stream, a couple of messages. WF1 Raikkonen asking, saying that he thinks that Ice Cold Andy might be trying a 2-stop. Well, if he is going for option is not the way to do it. You can't see the prime plastic half a race distance. Meanwhile, we've also a Cryo Lockdown asking how many drivers got penalties last time out. Well, I'll hand that one over to you, Dan Chris, because you were involved in the stewards' decisions.
Quite a lot. I can't remember off by heart, but looking at the stewards' report, there was quite a lot of penalties for corner cut track extending, so I can't remember off by heart, but there was quite a number. And
Mr. Indigo gets into the toe behind Velocity as we get into the DRS activation zone after the hairpin. You can really see the sun going down now. Beautiful golden sunshine on the tarmac, almost like you're driving in the 80s cars with that hue over the screen. And Velocity pushing left and constantly moving left there. He's got to be careful. If he doesn't leave a space distance, he could get a penalty under the rules. But anyway, Mr. Indigo is not intimidated. And anyway, look at this from Velocity. Late on the brakes to try and go around the outside. Anyway, Mr. Indigo sees it. They're still side by side, but he has lost out, and Velocity is going to have DRS here and may get back past into the triple chicane. There goes the flap. He's deployed all his Kerrs, closing speed very high up the road of Mr. Indigo, and Velocity gets around the outside. Can he make it stick the long way round? Getting perilously close to the marbles. Anyway, Mr. Indigo just gives him room. Velocity nearly spins the car, hangs on. They're still side by side. Indigo hanging on through turn 8. Velocity's got the high ground on the outside. That's a great pass. And Steve-O, looking great form from him for Stewart. Great performance there from him. Magnificent driving. And the Velocity goes wide off the circuit. And Mr. Indigo does the pair of them. What a move! What intelligent driving from Indigo to do that.
In comment to Cryo Lockdown's comment, even Bernie couldn't get out of a penalty this week. I think I got a penalty for corner cutting. So, you know, it's just how it works.
Interesting question for Ciaro Martin, asking how far is Ciaro ahead. Going above Ciaro is just going through the DRS zone now, and Reese is about 4 seconds behind, so he's not comfortable up in front, but at the same time he's not under pressure.
An undercut from Reese would bring it right back into play, though. And you know,
interestingly, F1 Night in P3, Ice Cold Andy in P4, and Ice Cold Andy's got the DRS, the two former champions going wheel to wheel in the same car. F1 Night pulls right out of the way on the prime tyres, letting Ice Cold Andy get through into the inside, going on the slip here. Ice Cold Andy gets a little wobble as the F1 Night coming out to the second zone, curse deployed into the acceleration zone, flat goes wide open. Down towards the triple chicane, and F1 Night close up to the back of Andy. I don't think he's quite got the legs here, and Ice Cold Andy takes third position with authority. Meanwhile, Steve-O simply commentating that amazing, and he also says, apparently I sound like I'm having an asthma attack. Well, you try doing a full race distance and a full race distance here in the same day. It's not easy.
Yeah.
XRL's gone.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just going to comment to Cotton Sock saying he doesn't believe that I would get a penalty for a second. Well, yeah, Bernie's money bags couldn't get out of it this time, I'm afraid.
Well, Stuart meanwhile is closer to the back of Velocity, running in P8 now. So Velocity and the McLaren in the Lotus having pressured by Stuart and the McLaren doing a good job. Behind them, meanwhile, XRL Bobbert's doing a great job. As Miss Brill says, her big brother is on senior. You're going to go away from racing to watch Big Brother? What kind of commitment have you got?
Unbelievable. I cannot believe people watching that dribble Celebrity Big Brother.
I used to rip Crazy Fish when he said that he went to watch Hawaii 5-0. All is forgiven.
Unbelievable.
Meanwhile, actually, Mr. Seymour says he actually has asthma, so he'll pass on the invitation to 2 races in one day. It's not easy. XRL Rusty, meanwhile, getting in on the Big Brother machine saying, oh, God. Well, there's not much else to say, really. As XRL Bowers gets deep into the slipstream of Stewart, he's got the DRS here, half his curse bar deployed. Gets onto the outside, was getting close to halfway distance here. Coming into the end of the DRS zone, into the chicane. Gets on the brakes, and that should be an easy move for XRL Bowers. But is he now going to be under pressure from Stewart, who's on the option tyres, and the McLaren going over the detection zone? I think actually Bowers got better traction here, and he's actually going to be making a big move, potentially on the back of Velocity in the Lotus. Carl Sox, meanwhile, simply says, ban him from the stream. That's very harsh. Very, very harsh indeed. Miss Brilliant, we don't have a problem, we're just having a laugh. So please don't feel like we're taking the bit. we appreciate the fact that you're one of our drivers. It's great you've been here to watch anyway. Meanwhile, XRL Bobbers gets a good run at Velocity heading into turn 10. Velocity goes a little wide, so Bobbers has a potential opportunity for an overtake here. Getting very, very close. Mitchell 7X questioning, done with league racing. I'm not sure who that's directed at, but I've been done with league racing for a long time. I've been retired for 2 seasons.
XRL Martin taking an ex-Matty G comment, favourite comment. I was surprised he hasn't got it trademarked or something.
Steve-O getting in on the Big Brother again, saying he used to watch for 3 minutes and then get sick of it. I mean, the idea of Big Brother is actually quite entertaining, but when you're just sat watching people sat around twiddling their thumbs, it gets quite boring, in my opinion. But whatever floats your boat, I hope you enjoy it. That's brilliant.
Ooh,
anyway,
losing traction there behind Velexi. Is that Velexi?
Indeed, and that's allowed Stewart to close him. But Velocity actually lost out too, amazingly. Look how close Bobbitt is to the back of him.
Look at him, yeah. A little bit of curves, he should get the DRS open and make this move.
But Velocity once again being aggressive and defensive, pushing as wide as he can.
You'll see him brake late here. Look at him, he's just braking late again, trying to go around the outside. He can't do it, but Bobbitt's, he does. Yeah, he does well there. I thought he'd have to leave him room, but he hasn't. He's been able to get the traction out of the corner, get the curves down, and he will be safe. And in fact, I would say Velexi, he's not going to be under too much pressure either from Stewart behind. We may as well have a quick rundown, I think. May as well quickly have a quick rundown of who's where. Ciaru leading the race at the moment, saying, I think, he's a 10th quicker on his fastest lap than Reese. These two quite equally matched today. Ice Cold Andy in third with F1 Nige, the two Williams rounding off the podium in fourth. Jamie doing quite well on his F1 debut. Enema Mr. Indigo in sixth ahead of Bobbert, Valexti in eighth. So 6th and 8th for the two championship protagonists, needing to get ahead of Fearless big time this week because he's away, aren't really doing a great job. The two Scotsmen of Stewart and LGS in 9th and 10th, and Taps at the back. His pace does seem reasonable though, so maybe he can't be at the back by too much.
Well, in the meantime, Mr. Indigo pulls well to the back of Jamie, 2.03. And he's on the option tyres, and remember, Mr. Indigo, whereas Jamie's on the primes. At the end of sector 1, Jamie feeling the pressure because a bit wide at the first part of the chicane. That allows Indigo to take a look, not close enough for him to make a move here, so Indigo's going to filter and wait, I think. But getting on the inside, he's going to have the curves here, and you expect he'll be able to blast past with the DRS on the fresh option rubber. Although there is quite a lot of lines on those tyres, so anyway, Mr. Indigo might be going for a box soon, but either way, there goes the slipstream, pulls way out to the left, gets past very easy, and you have to wonder if that place really should be a DRS zone, because it's just so easy to make a pass there.
It's too long, and then they make this another detection zone here, so Jamie has a good chance to get back.
Indigo made a mistake at the hairpit of the chicane, and that's why that's happened, and he got quite out of shape. Jamie close up at high speed, but not high speed enough. I mean, for those of you who remember the 2011 race at Istanbul Park in Turkey, do you remember when Nico Rosberg got passed about 8 times in like as many laps? There was 80 passes that Grand Prix, because the DRS along that curve straight in sector 3 was simply too long, and this is what this reminds me of here at Abu Dhabi.
Just a little bit too long, needs to be shortened by maybe about 100 metres or something, and it would make it much closer when it actually comes down to making the move.
Velocity in 8th place now, still being pressured by XRL LGS, the sister Ferrari. As we've seen the mistake of Jamie in the first sector caused Mr. Indigo to pull away a little bit as he gets into the final corner. LGS getting close to the apex, gets a decent run. As you can see, we've got the inky blackness of the sky now. The sun is almost fully down, and we're just coming up to halfway distance. It's been a really, really long time. XRL Rusty commenting on Jamie saying nice lines there. Well, it could be a mistake on tyre wear, it could be the dirty air, or it simply could be someone not paying attention to the corner cutting rules. Either way, XRL LGS takes a look at XRL Velocity, who goes very wide at the end of sector 1. LGS looks about cutting back underneath him, just doesn't quite have the traction, but he's going to have a great opportunity now. He tries to go the wide line, shapes to Fernando Alonso at the reverse corner of Spa today, trying to get the undercut, and gets on the curves there. LGS going to have the DRS to fly past him. And that is, well, all too easy, you think. Now, Jamie 2.03 looking at the back of XRL Bobbert, going to have the DRS on the back of the Ferrari driver down towards the triple chicane. But if you see the difference in the activation zones here, I think that's the critical difference between sector 1 and sector 2. Mitchell 7X saying dirty air or a mistake, not an excuse at India. Well, I think at India we saw it that often on that many laps. It was one of the reasons why it was such a talking point. To be fair to the drivers, it's not been as prominent here. It's still been prominent, but not as prominent.
But that is why we're not doing it properly tonight. We've actually got an independent person who's recording the race instead, so we can get on with our job in terms of watching this racing, giving good commentary, and watching for any incidents. And then we've also got the person looking at the track extending. So
perplexingly, Reese 26 is now in third behind Ice Cold Andy.
So
and Reese is attacking very quickly.
That'll be because he's pit. He's trying to get an undercut on Ciaru then.
But he's quite behind Ice Cold Andy. He needs to clear this Williams as soon as possible.
Ooh,
if he doesn't clear him now, gets on the inside of the hairpin, Ice Cold Andy chops across to block the move. Reese tries to go on the inside, gets too much curve though, and that ruins his rhythm, but he's still kept close to the back. Curves and DRS should make mincemeat of Ice Cold Andy here. Faced off form earlier in the race, but Ice Cold Andy's been good in a straight line. Heading down towards the chicane, Ice Cold Andy tries, but a little bit of contact there. I think Reese thought he was a bit further past him than he was. Got a little brush on the wing, and then Ice Cold Andy goes slightly over the inside. And you can see the hotels now all lit up as the sun has almost gone, as we're nearly at half race distance here.
So now he can try and get a bit of an undercut on Ciaru and see if he can get close to the lead when Ciaru pits.
That's going to be the big question here.
It is. I mean, if he can get the hammer down, get it on Rich for a lap. If Ciaru doesn't pit this lap, then it's going to be awfully close.
A bit of TMI from Rush730 says he's got to go for some food and then something else. I'm not going to say what. Meanwhile, XRL must be saying that high fuel loads and crap tyre wear mean mistakes can happen. He also gives a shout out to Reese26 saying that he's doing really well this week, and I completely agree. Reese26 has really punched above his weight.
He is, but you do have to remember that he probably has deserved this over the course of the season. He has had a number of decent performances. India, he was on the race pace. He was at the front of the race pace. He was just unlucky with people nudging him with side pods. And then you look at tracks like Spain, he had the pace there until he ruined his race. He's been disconnected a couple of times. He has deserved a decent result, and I'll be really happy for him if he could get a win or a second tonight.
I think XRL Stewart just realised that he made a mistake, cut a corner, as I caught him weaving before turn 9. Meanwhile, Ice Cold Andy's now gone into the box, I believe, because XRL Bobbers has briefly gone ahead. And Enema Mr. Indigo is now in 3rd place, behind Reese26.
XRL Martin commenting, saying Andy has done a strange strategy, driving his options to the extreme and losing too much time. Yeah, I probably agree.
It's a little strange strategy around here because tyre wear is quite bad and the race is long distance. You've got 55 laps, lap times are long, not too much slower than Singapore, bear that in mind. So it's a long race here at Abu Dhabi, and you think that you want to get on the tyres so you can avoid going through the pits too many times. XRL Roberts trying to get a move closer to Enema Mr. Indigo, who's running in P3 now after Ice Cold Andy's gone into the box once again.
This is really close. Ciaru still has not pitted. Where is he out on track at the moment? He is now coming up to the final couple of corners. Will he hit?
SRL Bobbers goes slightly through the chicane, but Enema Mr. Indigo went through much worse, and SRL Bobbers has been able to gain a position. Now, that one you could argue might need to be looked at by the stewards there. Enema Mr. Indigo went way off the circuit, and then Bobbers slightly went through it. So, as a result of that, Bobbers technically gained an advantage by going off the circuit, but then again, Enema Mr. Indigo went so far wide of the circuit, he didn't even make the chicane. So is that an incident or not?
And Reese. Ciaru could lose the lead here. Reese is now going through the first corner, going through the...
This is mightily close. Here we go. Side by side into the corner. Look at that. Less than a tenth between the Ciaru's trying to go underneath. At the end of sector 1, great driving. Can Reese go the long way round? Yes, he can. But Ciaru's going to have DRS. Ciaru had the DRS down off this long straight, and we've seen how effective the DRS has been here. So I think Ciaru's going to retake the lead.
Don't use too much KERS, Reese. You need it for the second DRS. He's used it all. Here
comes he's got way ahead of Ciaru, but Ciaru's got the flap and the KERS. Pulls into the slipstream, pulls left. Can Ciaru get on the brakes? He's on the brakes nice and late. Reese is gone. They've hit a side pod glitch. Ciaru stops knowing that he potentially caused that incident. Unbelievable. What a way to end that side pod glitch. And Reese is possibly going to get let back through by Ciaru. I'm not sure if Ciaru's really to blame on that one, because Reese really should have seen him coming.
I don't know. I felt like Ciaru was a long way off when it came to braking for the corner and maybe was doing a little bit too much too late, but he did have the pace. He had the pace and was closing in at a rate of knots down at the end of the straight, but fair play to Ciaru. We'll just call it. We'll just say no further action. He's given him the pace back. We'll just keep on going and hopefully continue with this great racing.
CRL Martin, meanwhile, seeing Oh Dear on the stream. I get a feeling the Oh Dear in its extra folder with nice game. Completely agree. Yeah. It's actually the glitch that's caused that. It's not the drivers. Realistically, what should have happened was the wheels made a bit of contact, Ciaru would get a bit of a wobble, and then they'd have a side-by-side duel down to the next corner. But either way, Ciaru's still behind Reese, and he's less than a second behind, so these two are now going to be battling on pretty much very similar sort of tyres. And again, how much confidence does this give you in the next game if they've still not fixed the glitch as easy as that?
Well, someone said it's basically F1 2013 with 2014 paint jobs on the car. I hope it isn't, because I think it was Smithy who said that. I hope it isn't, because that would mean...
I agree with Smithy from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, so do I, but I hope it isn't, but I just see that it will be. The sound of the cars is different, the look of the cars is different, and you've got one or two new tracks, and you're losing a track, but apart from that, I don't see much changing with the game, because I just see it as like a fill-in game until they bring the live game in next year.
in 2015 on Xbox One. I agree with you. I think they'll have pulled all their resources into the next generation. As Reese 26 gets very poor traction off the second chicane there, and that's allowed Sierra to close right up to him. There goes the flap, and he's going to come out ahead. Now, can Reese stick into the inside and be able to move up the here? No, he's not. Sierra's cleanly got ahead of him.
But he will if he can keep on. He's shown in this race that he's got the pace to hold on to a reasonable gap, so he may be able to get DRS, and he is still harassing him behind him in P2, so these two going all at it.
Yeah, a bit of hammer and tongs duel here from Reese 26. I've not said that for a couple of weeks, so I can bring it back out of retirement. As the sun has almost definitely gone from the horizon, and we are only at halfway distance, would you believe? These guys are really pushing here. Bit of a mistake from the Reese 26 there at the end of sector 3, and that's allowed Sierra to get a bit of a gap, pushing on. Oh, there's a bit wide there, Reese, as well, so Reese has lost ground on this lap. Anyway, I'm starting to go. Looks like he's going to go into the box here and change his tyres. So that's going to let Ice Cold Andy back through in the Williams in P5. And XRL LGS also running a strong race here in the Ferrari. His teammate XRL Roberts in 4th. But LGS not really been on the ultimate pace, and yet he's doing it when it matters on the track. Meanwhile, SteamOS on the stream, he wonders how much you'll be able to set up the ERS and how will you be able to set the levels of recovery. Interesting question now, because of course they've gone from the 6 seconds of KERS that you have on this game to the 33 seconds that you have in real life as part of the turbos. And also, with the lower fuel tanks, how much more is it going to simulate fuel saving? Because on most races now, you don't have to run lean that often. Yet, in the next game, surely you'll have to. So Reese 26 trying to close up to Sierra. He's got a bit of a gap on him now. As XRL Bobbert has got Ice Cold Andy chasing after him. And also XRL LGS who's fallen away from the back of Ice Cold Andy. So XRL LGS fallen out of contention here. And Ice Cold Andy is now going to be threatening the back of XRL Bobbert. And that means he'll be threatening the podium. Great performance from Ice Cold Andy. You're being awfully suspiciously quiet all of a sudden, damn Chris. What's got your go?
I actually just nipped downstairs to get a drink, but I'm quite surprised that the leveller Reese has lost quite a bit of time to Sierra in the last lap or two.
He's made a couple of mistakes, gone onto the marbles a couple of times, and also hit the curbs. So that's ruined his traction as Jamie 2003 goes wide underneath the bridge. Doesn't really gain any time though. You saw the car fishtailing and sliding there, really struggling to get the power down. As we go round to the final corner, XRL LGS falling away from Andy. But look at Ice Cold Andy now, all out attack as he goes after XRL Bobbert, eyeing up that 3rd place finish, which I'm sure is better than he could have hoped for this weekend. So meanwhile, just going to quickly cover the battle between Ice Cold Andy and Bobbert, and I'm going to cheekily go for a drink as well. As we get over the inside, KERS being deployed by XRL Bobbert to try and defend from Ice Cold Andy, but he attacks with the KERS to close as close as he can to the activation zone. There goes the flap, gets into the toe, doesn't quite get level with the Ferrari though, so it won't be as effective. And as you think about the inside here, XRL Bobbert's might be able to hold him off. In fact, no, Ice Cold Andy might well be thinking about trying to stay close here and pass him in the 2nd zone. And look how close he stayed to Bobbert. This could be a masterful piece of driving by Ice Cold Andy, turning defence into attack. There goes the flap on the inside of the grandstand, and that is as cool as you like to take 3rd position.
He has been looking threatening for the last sort of lap or so. So good move from Andy there, as Bobbert's getting right on the curve, if not a bit of corner cutting going on there to try and close the gap. But Andy easily makes the move, and you have to say, for these guys at the front, they had a little sidepod glitch right when they came out at the start of their stints. If they have any more funny business like that, I mean, Andy's there to capitalise, so is Bobbert. They're no more than 12-15 seconds off the lead, and the guys at the front cannot afford to be making mistakes. Anyway, let's get a bit further out,
Well, I'm currently showing a battle that's going on between Bobbert and Ice Cold Andy. Bobbert has fallen away. I'll briefly go into the kitchen.
6 and 7. before you go.
In that case, that's what I'll do. So I'll put it back on there as LGS goes into the box. And indeed, you're right. Jamie 2003 has got F1 Night right behind it. So I'll leave you all in the company of Dan for about 2 minutes.
Oh, it's my time to shine, guys. Get your comments in to me for the next couple of minutes if you like XRL Bernie. I'll try and read a few off. And they're all talking about F1 2014 being F1 2013 plus a skin mod. We kind of just mentioned that already. But F1 Night starting to get right on the back of, I believe, that is Jamie 2503 in the Mercedes. And they're not too far away from the guys who are racing for that final podium spot, Mr. Ice Cold, Andy and Bob. It's probably about 7 to 10 seconds behind, pretty much the length of the straight. So yeah, about 10 seconds. And Nigel's starting to close that gap to DRS open. I wouldn't even think about making the move here. Do what Andy did in the Williams a lap ago and try and get a good traction out of this corner, which he didn't really, but he's done okay. He's got a lot of curves available to him. Gets that curve, DRS open. Can he get closer?
Jamie gets a little bit of lag there as he gets to the end of the DRS zone, and as a result of that, he keeps the position for now. But F1 Night is hustling the back of him. Meanwhile, Connor Eyes is asking what's up with Channel 1. Answer very similar. Well, Rusty said stream issues. The problem we've had is that while I used it today for the real life commentary, since then there's been some problem authenticating it on the software that's used to stream. So that's why we're unfortunately covering it on Channel 2 only tonight. But either way, you will have a full version of this, and F1 Speed, if you're watching, make sure you get the India race that I put up on YouTube. It's not there yet.
Yes, and make sure you get this one as well. Make sure it's on
what's happened there?
Yeah, what? What?
Well, it just seemed to disappear, and then there was no wing. What was that about? Has he hit the pit wall? I think he has. He's done a David Coulthard at Adelaide in 1995. He's gone into the pit wall, and he's given up straight away. Jamie's in the pit lane and retired there. So we're down to 9 runners and riders. The first retirement in some of the most bizarre circumstances you could possibly think of.
Well, hopefully he does that tomorrow.
I'm going to try and get him in here and find out what happened there. I don't know if that was a glitch, because it seemed that F1 Night was chasing after him, and the next thing, there was a random wing in the middle of the track, and the car had gone away.
Fair play to Taps. He's still going. He's currently got a point now as it stands. He's probably about 16, 17 seconds down on the next car. I'm not sure what his pit strategy is in comparison to Alexi, who, well, he is going to, XRL Fearless is going to be absolutely pleased with how today's gone. Alexi down in only point scoring position for 2 points at the moment, and Indigo not really doing too much better. He is scoring currently 10 points. So it's going to be very, very tight going into USA and Brazil for the final. So it's going to go right down to the wire.
Well, if that's how it is, what a fitting send-off that'll be for me, because of course, for all your viewers out there who don't know, this is my final season commentating on XRL, because it's very, very unlikely that I'll get the 2014 game. Never say never, but it's pretty much certain that I'm going to be retiring at the end of the season, and that'll be a great way to go out here. Now, in the meantime then, not had any word from Jamie yet about what happened, and they got a bit of a field spread mostly, though. XRL Bobbins has got his teammate closing up, so we'll get on board there for the moment. So, we want to get your opinions in general then on the web. We heard all your comments about Hamilton and Rosberg. Here's a question I want to ask people. Who's been your driver of the day today? Who would you go for now?
Alonso.
Oh, well, this is hardly a surprise.
No. I think Raikkonen had a really good job. I think if he got the podium, he would have been a dead cert for driver of the day today. I think he had a really good performance, outperforming Alonso, and really doing something a little bit different, something a bit out of the ordinary, and getting a decent result with a car that's maybe not the best. So he's got to be up there. Bottas, again, he had a really strong performance. Ricciardo, he held off the threat to the Mercedes. So I feel like if it was Hamilton would have beaten him. I don't think Rosberg's got that. As a driver chasing someone, I don't fear Rosberg. I would fear Hamilton more than Rosberg, so I'm not sure how...
Right, can someone get a message to the Mercedes Grand Prix at Brackley? For next year is a XRL karting day, make sure Nico Rosberg's there. I want to put that to the test. Mr. Indigo trying to go around the outside of F1 Night, where F1 Night's resisting on the inside there, great driving. On the screen, quite a few comments. Both Connor Eyes going for Kimi, meanwhile XRL Rusty going for Bottas. Spinny Lad can't choose between Ricardo and Bottas. Conor Rice, great shout out to Hulkenberg. Correct, came from 18th on the grid in the end, so end up in the points. Great performance from him, it has to be said. I'd also say that one of the shout outs I'd give would actually be to Max Chilton for the fact that he beat Roman Grosjean before he retired and was beating him on the track. That's answering your critics, I'm sorry.
Very, very true. I think you said it in the stream earlier, where losing the Frick suspension system has actually damaged Lotus quite a bit in comparison to some of the other teams. It's helped a team like Sauber, but it's definitely hindered a team like Lotus, in my opinion.
It's kind of like the tyre situation, isn't it? When the tyres were changed last year, Lotus were one of the bigger losers due to the fact they had such good tyre wear, and then Sauber, out of nowhere, was suddenly finding traction and beating Mercedes and Ferraris. It was bizarre.
Exactly.
But Master Indigo's now got the curse, getting into the inside, going to have the DRS here, and he's already passed him before the activation zone. F1 Nice gets into the slipstream, trying to use the reduced drag to maybe get a decent slipstream, stay close to Master Indigo, and attack down the GP2 paddock support and get through that way. Meanwhile, the Ferraris are still going out hammer and tug behind. Oh, bit of wheel slip there. And F1 Nice, look how close he is to Indigo. He's got the curse deployed and he might fancy his chances here, but he's not using DRS. F1 Nice has not activated it. Has he got a problem with his DRS? What a time to get that. Well, he still makes a move into the three-part chicane. Not close enough to attack.
Well, I just wanted to bring your attention to at the As It Stands championship table. The top three would be separated by 4 points. You've got Fearless, who would be on 163, 161, 162 for Indigo, and 159 for Valexi. Very, very tight stuff. This is going to go right down to the wire.
Indeed it is. Now, coming on the stream, being asked by Cotton Socks, what do we think about the Jenson Button contract issue? Well, we don't really know what the issue there is. It's just that nothing's been decided. You'd expect that with the Honda engines next year at McLaren, Honda would want Jenson Button in because he's very popular in Japan. And they've not had a driver at McLaren like that since Ayrton Senna. However, with the new management setup and with the fact that Eric Boullier is in charge of the team, we know that Nico Hulkenberg's already been contacting the team saying, I'm interested. McLaren have made no secret they want to try and get Alonso as XRL Bombers tries to go to the inside of F1 Nige, backs out of the moon when he realises he's not going to make the corner. And we've also, with the link with Eric Boullier and how bad Lotus have been, can you see Roman Grosjean maybe jumping ship?
That's a potential, I think. He was a big fan of Grosjean, wasn't he?
Well, he's his manager.
Eric Boullier, exactly. So
DRS from XRL Bombers gets to the left of F1 Nice into the chicane, goes too deep, and F1 Nice might fancy a chance to take this back here. He's already attacking on the outside. Bombers not really giving him a car with F1 Nice, not intimidated, side by side, but still no DRS and XRL GS. Look at this, trying to go on the inside. XRL GS trying to mug F1 Nice, and he's on the outside. Can he make this stick? XRL Bombers tries to defend. Unbelievably, no drivers gaining or losing there. Great drive from all three of them.
F1 Nice, you would only think would be quite a long way past the Ferrari at this point if he had DRS. He just can't get past otherwise.
Meanwhile, XRL Rusty thinks that this might actually be the end of Jenson Button's career. I can't see that personally. I get the feeling that someone like Williams might try and take him on to the final season like Felipe Massa did. Meanwhile, F1 Nice had to back out of a move, got too wide at the end of Sector 3, so LGS now goes past him.
Yeah,
apparently.
Well, sorry, I was going to say Nice, yeah, he did the right thing probably backing out there. He was only going to cause an incident if he didn't.
Well, what comment the Stevo's put on the stream is basically saying that when he was interviewed by the BBC, Jenson Button has said that basically he wants to carry on, but if he has to retire, then so be it. So basically it's like he's admitted he's at the end of his career. Meanwhile, move further.
Career, though.
He has as a world champion, one time. Now XRL Bombers going to get into DRS zone on Mr. Indigo here. So he's battling for 4th place now, XRL Bombers. Been a bit shaky, he must be set for his race here. And he's going to try and move on the inside. He's had trouble braking for this corner. And wisely backs out of it, not wanting to slip up the inside and lose out. Having to let the driver back through. And Bombers now might fancy a better chance down towards the end of the GP2 support paddock. And a triple pass chicane. But I think kind of Mr. Indigo will just have the legs on him here. Because Bombers has not closed up enough in the chicane. Jigsaw's has come out of a wild question. Button to the Haas Formula 1 team. I really doubt that. Jensen was the kind of guy who wants to fight for a championship and fight for podiums, and there's no way that Haas, barring a miracle, will be able to do that. I mean, don't get Braun did it in 2009, so never say never, but it would be a real shock if Haas Racing will be anywhere near that. If you want to go for a left field prediction in terms of Jensen Button's career move, you know what I think's going to happen? He'll finish his career at Ferrari.
Really?
I think he will partner Fernando Alonso.
When though? Because if he doesn't get a seat this season
I think Raikkonen will retire and Jensen Button will take his place.
I would love that to happen, but I just can't see it. I mean, they've already said they're going to retain the drivers, so...
What they say and what they do are two totally different things. Just ask Jos Verstappen about that. Some walking show, yes, you definitely have a driver arrows. Actually, no, you don't. I've replaced you. Goodbye. Now, XRL Bobbers blast past Animal Mysterio on the DRS into the inside of the chicane. Gets a bit of tail slip there, XRL Bobbers. And Animal Mysterio fancy his chances here. And look at how much he's closed up from the chicane. Animal Mysterio showed Bobbers how it's done. There goes the flap and the curse. And Indigo shut up the pace and just goes straight back past him. Under lights here in the desert of Abu Dhabi. But XRL Bobbers laid on the brakes but goes over the inside of the chicane. And that's going to be retaining a position illegally there. Meanwhile, Animal Mysterio trying to fight back on Bottas around the outside, trying to make it so that any kind of review from the stewards is not necessary. Into turns 9 and 10, but Animal Mysterio not able to close up. Meanwhile, a prediction from Stevo, which actually I think is a good prediction actually, reckons that Button will retire, Grosjean to McLaren, Bianchi to Sauber, Hulkenberg to Ferrari. That's one that I'd say is very realistic. As Animal Mysterio makes a big mistake in the final corner, nearly spins the car, loses a huge amount of time, and LGS as a result is going to be able to move up into position here, goes into turn 1 and gets closer to the back of Animal Mysterio.
Now, someone was having a right go at me the other day when I said Bianchi to go to Sauber. I think he might just continue that sort of progression up the ladder and then...
Definitely. He's got so much praise for what he's done in Marussia. But one of the rumours I've been hearing is that with Sauber's problems and also with Marussia, if they beat Sauber, they'll gain something like a $90 million budget gain. But in terms of that, yeah, right. Now I'm wondering if Ferrari might see Marussia as a better replacement for Sauber as their development team.
Yeah, definitely. It is very worrying times for Sauber. It is very worrying times.
They've really fallen on black days, haven't they? It's almost as bad as the last days of Brabham in 1992.
I wouldn't go that far yet, but... It is getting bad for the Swiss team, and they've got to do something about it. I mean, I don't know, change right from the top. I don't think the drivers are the issue, although I'm not a fan of Sutil.
It's Gutierrez who's the real worry for me. Gutierrez has really not shown himself to be at the required standard. He only has to look back to his hilarious retirement at Monte Carlo, which allowed Jules Bianchi to get those crucial points. I've never seen a driver turn in too early and ruin the tyres outside of gaming. I've never seen it happen in real life.
What is the current point situation with that? Is it 2-1 or is it 2-0?
2-0. Sauber has scored nothing.
Oh, I thought
Sauber are only ahead of Caterham because Sauber have got 2 11s, I believe, whereas Caterham have got only 1. That's the only reason they're not stone dead last in the constructors.
That really great. I do keep praying that the Sauber don't get in there. I just think it'd be really good for a team like Marussia who have stuck it out for so long to make them strides, because everyone thought it was going to be Caterham. Go back in maybe a couple of seasons. Everyone thought, oh, Caterham are going to be the team that take that next step, and they just haven't. They've been disappointing.
But especially if you wind back the clock, you know, you have the drivers like Jarno Trulli and Kovalainen. Nothing special really, but two drivers who've proven that they're decent overall pace and a good chance for them to develop the futures. You have Mike Gascoigne, respected team engineer and designer. You also have to hook up with Red Bull for gearboxes and Renault engines. All the building blocks were in place for Caterham to make that stride, so it's a real shock that it's Marussia who had to do an 11th hour switch to Ferrari after Cosworth dumped him in it when they weren't making a turbo engine, and all of a sudden, you know, they're the ones who've made the strides forward without this support. And yeah, sure, Bianchi's dropped the spin off the car, but you can't take that away from the fact that aside from when Pat Simmons was there to give them some overall advice, it's overall hard work, as XRL F1 gets badly out of shape under the hotel bridge, and that nearly cuts out Enema Mr. Indigo, and LGS is now closed up.
Yeah, they've brought in some decent staff at Marussia, and they're doing a good job. Every season seems to be improvement, and they are getting closer to the likes of Sauber. I think Sauber is still marginally quicker, but
now, here's an interesting point. Conrad said he'd like to see Kobayashi in a good car again. So would I. Absolutely love Kamui Kobayashi.
Definitely.
Anyone who saw the race at Japan in 2010 will know that he's one of the better drivers in close combat. Now, there's an interesting one. First of all, Smithy had said Kobayashi back at Sauber, but I'm going to go one further. What if he replaces Kimi Raikkonen at Ferrari? He's worked with Ferrari as their official works team in the Le Mans 24-hour. He understands the modern talk and the modern designs courtesy of Caterham. Could be an outside bet there, potentially.
can't see it happening, although you do make those points. Just don't think... I don't know. There's not many negatives about the guy, but I just don't think... I don't think he's at the top of the pecking order at Ferrari to take a seat if Raikkonen was to go.
Well, at the moment, I think it's Giancarlo Fisichella and the great Pedro Della Rosa who are the guys who are in support. To show that there's life in the old dogs when you get drivers like that hanging around in the third seat, isn't it?
What's Barrichello doing these days? Is he doing IndyCar or something?
He went into IndyCar, but I don't think it worked out, so he went into, I think it was Brazilian stock cars, kind of like Brazilian touring cars, along with Nelson Piquet Jr., I believe. Interestingly, Mr. Steve-O talking about, did anyone hear about Alonso and Red Bull this weekend? Yes, it was mentioned in the build-up today in the race. I believe that Eddie Jordan was asked by Susie Perry about it. And basically, no one knows what it was for, but it looks like he was talking about his options. Now, that might just be to put pressure on Ferrari, because he's not been happy with the car, but yet Ferrari has shown they'll develop the car around him. As meanwhile, I think that's Reece 26 who's rejoined the circuit in 5th place behind LGS.
That is not a great place to be. He's trying to get the undercut again, and this time he's come out into a group of 3 here.
But he will have DRS, first of all on LGS, and on the fresh tyres he might be able to out DRS on Mr. Indigo as well. So there's definitely not the worst that could happen. And he has caught them at Sector 2 at least. He's not got it in Sector 3. LGS switching back from the left. Caught Reece out there. Reece nearly rammed him in the back, but luckily saw enough to stop the car. LGS will let a few bit of a brown streak on the inside of those racing overalls as a result of that. DRS flap on for Reece 26 and also LGS, and then Mr. Indigo potentially under pressure for a double pass here. LGS very late on the brakes, and that's a beautiful move into the triple chicane.
Well, this is hurting Reece's chances here. He made too many mistakes in the last stint, but he can soon get past these.
Yeah, he's going around the outside at right 9. He's going to try and go the long way around at 10. I've never seen that done before, but I have now. Great drive from Reece to put the car there and force Mr. Indigo into going into a tighter line. Great driving.
Now he's up into P5. He's got 2 Ferraris to clear, and then he'll have some free roads to try and eat into Ciaru's gap. He's got 14 laps to go.
As we're out of the lights, very much in the dark of night in the desert of Abu Dhabi at Yas Marina, and you can see that Reece went a bit too wide there, and so did LGS. That's the one I learned about Mr. Indigo's car, and LGS is wide again. LGS really struggling all of a sudden. Maybe those tyres have reached the end of the line, because Reece 26 is all over it. Already Steve-O saying overtaken a week as Mr. Indigo goes past Reece, who made a mistake. So all that effort comes to naught. Gets on the curves for the DRS, so locks tyres and then about Indigo. There goes the flat DRS. He's going to easily be past Indigo. Will he be close enough to LGF in the chicane? He's not going to do it before the chicane, but he should be close enough to make a move in the GP2 paddock.
He should have the traction out of these corners as well, these much fresher tyres, and in fact he does. Right on the back now, DRS wide open. Can he make a move?
Should be very easy. We've seen LGS very confident. Oh, Mr. Indigo's lost connection. Well, that's a big change in the championship because Mr. Indigo's going to score no points, having lost connection. What a disaster on the 42nd lap.
He did struggle with connection before the race. He would have probably scored maybe a top 5 today, so he's lost some big points. You would think with only 2 races to go, he's going to have a miracle now to win the championship, but
XRL Fearless will be rubbing his hands with glee as we head into Austin, Texas and Sao Paulo, Brazil at the end of the season. What a mistake that XRL Rusty saying, oh no, as LGS goes into the pits.
This week could not have gone any better for Fearless in terms of how Velocity and Indigo have scored. I mean, it's got a 6-point gap at the front, but that is... He may even still be the leader after this race at this rate, and you would not put your money on that. You would expect Velexi to get a decent result, and Indigo's usually always up there, but oh dear, losing connection.
Sayara, meanwhile, has done enough to be able to hold off Reese here, thanks to those mistakes. I believe he's got a big enough gap to resist him. On the string, Conor Rice asking for a prediction for the Monza top 3. My prediction, without seeing any practice, will be Hamilton, Rosberg, Bottas. Well, that's my prediction.
What's this for, sorry?
Monza to Monza.
Okay, Monza to Monza. Yeah, let's just call Rosberg the winner. Actually, I probably think it's actually a Hamilton track. I just think Rosberg's got his championship.
DRS on from Reese 26 goes at the inside of XRL Brothers to take 3rd place. That's going to start trying to chase after Ice Cold Andy. Oh, and he's gone wide though, almost missed the chicane, goes slightly over the white lines there. And as a result of that, Reese has got marbles on the tyres. So XRL Brothers might fancy a move here and maybe move towards a short podium. Rusty, meanwhile, thinks that at the Monza Grand Prix, it's going to be Hamilton, Rosberg, Ricciardo.
Well,
possibly.
Red Bull didn't look too bad down the straights today, did they? So, I mean, that's a possible shout.
Ice Cold Andy's gone into the pits ahead of Reese 26, and so has XRL Bobbins, actually. So Reese 26 is now going to be given a free move to get on to Sayara. Who's in the pits, actually? I think Sayara's coming out of the pits. Yes, he is. He's on the option tyres.
Reese, yeah. So he could. He's going to be under a bit of pressure towards the end then, because Andy's also on the options, whereas Reese is on the prime. So watch out for that one. If he can close by about a second a lap.
Ice Cold Andy has come out in 3rd place by a country mile. Great driver from the former world champion.
Jess is his nearest rival in P4, but yeah, as I was getting back to, I think Andy's got a potential shout at P2. He needs probably about a second, 3/4 of a second a lap for 10 laps. He's just going to be right on Reese at the end of this race.
Well, we saw today at Spa that Nico Rosberg was expecting 3 seconds a lap, so you can definitely get the difference potential in the cars as Taps in P9 has actually caught up to the back of XRL Stewart. We've got a battle at the end of the points here. Nobody else to cover Tap. You're covering in the Taro Rosso, doing a decent job, and he's on the option tyres too, so Stewart's under real pressure here. Jigsaw saying Anthony Davidson for the win at Monza. Well, if the FIA do give a punishment to Rosberg, and Anthony Davidson is their reserve driver, so you might want to fancy a punch on that, but put a tenner on down the bookies, see what odds you get.
That would be surprising, though. I mean,
DRS over from Taps going on the inside of Stewart. We can get back to talk about that in a moment. Getting into the chicane here, Taps on the inside line, but Stewart resists on the outside beautifully. Great driving. So yeah, carry on.
I was just saying, do you think anything will happen in that Rosberg case? You said not earlier, didn't you?
I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. Unless there's some really damning evidence I mean, the last time we saw a driver getting involved with causing an issue for the FIA was, of course, when Nelson Piquet admitted that they caused the crash in Singapore 2008. And let's not forget Alonso admitting that he knew race engineers stole data from Ferrari while he was at McLaren. That's the last few times that we've seen that happening in terms of the sport. And it'd be a real hammer blow to the overall presentation of it if it was true. I hope to God it's not, because that would ruin any sympathy you have for Rosberg, as Taps watches Stewart get a big mistake in the final corner, and Taps has his going around the outside to one. They lock tyres though, and Stewart resists being harsh but fair. Taps just can't get past him. Well, a few comments on the stream. WF1 Raikkonen is saying that the race is amazing, and he believes this top three will be Rosberg, Hamilton, Raikkonen at Monza. Well, Raikkonen's shown he's good at a low drag circuit, so definitely is a good shot. Oh no! Side pod glitch! Taps tried to go on the inside of Stewart, and they both spun out at the chicane, the long straight before the DR. Taps has retired on track. So Taps giving up after that mistake in fury, and that means we're only going to have 8 finishers now potentially.
Well, there's only 10 laps left. You may as well keep going. You've done 45. Sorry, you weren't point in giving up.
I'd agree with that, but I'm not a driver. What do I know? Next to me, we saw Hamilton today at Spa pleading for the team to retire him with only about 15 laps to go, and then finally got his wish. So, guess his arse imitating life.
Yeah, found some random problem with the car that wasn't actually any issue until he wanted to go into the box. So that was a funny thing for the Mercedes team. They just randomly found an issue there.
Sean Bean asking for an update on the positions. Over to you, Dan While in the pictures.
Why is Sean Bean not racing? That's the question, Sean. I'd like you to get back on that one.
Well, in the meantime, for the benefit of the stream, update on the positions.
We have got only 8 drivers racing now, which is a little bit of a shame, but obviously a lower grid start in the first place. We've got Ciaru. Well, he should have this race under control now, but Reese has given him a good battle all the way. He is on the prime, though, and could be under pressure towards the last few laps from Mr. Ice Cold Andy, who's had a reasonably good performance today. LGS in 4th, just ahead of his teammate Bobbert. F1 Nige, good reserve appearance today in 6th. Velexity fighting back in P7, and will go level on points with XRL Fearless in the championship with that result as it stands. Stewart is the final one to finish, and Taps just retiring after that sidepod glitch with Stewart. We've got NMR Mr. Indigo disconnected. He would have probably been on for a top 5. And then you've got Jamie 2503 who crashed into the pit wall and gave up, I believe.
Yeah, he did a David Coulthard at Adelaide in 1995. Went straight into the pit wall. And XRL Bottas has now closed up right to the back of his teammate. XRL LGS battle for 4th place between the two teams. Great result for the Ferrari guys at the Constructors' Championship today. Both drivers driving very, very well. On for a good haul of points here. As LGS was a little wide at turn 3. And that opens the gap for XRL Bottas as he goes on the inside towards sector 1. Manifesting a move on DRS here. Meanwhile, on the stream, Smitty Lad being snide in response to your question about why Sean Bean's not racing, saying he disconnected before he joined. That's a bit harsh. Meanwhile, Sean Bean saying that's his disc is playing up, and it's his first day of driving. He's been on taxi duty all day. Now, DRS flat open, XRL Bottas going up to the inside of XRL LGS, pulls well out of the slipstream, and that's going to be cool as you like. Can LGS get good traction through the chicane though to fight back? Now, interestingly, meanwhile, I saw a couple of dots very close together on the mini-map. No, it was just a bit of lag, I think. Ice Cold Andy like he caught right up to Reese. The DRS up from LGS into the chicane, the triple part, just not closing the gap on XRL Bottas in the second bite of the cherry. So LGS now filtering behind his teammate. These are the closest cars on track at the moment, so we'll be sticking with them for now. Possibly not to the end of the race, because we don't know how good Ice Cold Andy's pace is and whether he's going to be able to pressure Reese 26. So LGS going through the final corner, catching up to Bobbers. What are you up to at the moment, now, Dan? You've been very, very quiet at the moment.
I'm just keeping an eye on this Ice Cold Andy closing in on Reese. Well, I don't think it's getting closer. It is getting closer. Keep an eye on it, but it's going to be right on these last few laps of the race. So I'm just keeping an eye on him, seeing if he does everything by the rules. But as you said, yeah, those Ferraris getting closer now, and that looked like
Bobbers misses that chicane there at sector 1. Goes completely through it, so LGS will be right up his tailpipe now, going through to the DRS zone. Meanwhile, Colorize is asking if Crazy Fish is about. I wonder why.
Oh dear, Indigo. Yeah, he's not happy. 2 seasons in a row. He's now disconnected on lap 43 at the same lap at this Grand Prix. His championship, he now feels, is gone. He only wanted 5th place tonight, and he feels, I think, pretty gutted, which is a massive shame. I think it is gone for someone who hasn't won a race yet to be in contention at this late stage. He's done really well, but by the same token that he hasn't won a race yet, he's got to win. He has got to win at Austin, because the guys who are there in the championship with him are not going to back off this. They're going to be fully on it because they're both on equal points. They'll be both wanting to win.
Steve was saying he's so glad that his 20-second penalty got added to India rather than this race. He doesn't care about India. Meanwhile, Conrad is saying he's not bothered by his penalty, he's just confused. And Sean Bacon is saying he's already apologised, been discussed, but what are our opinions on Rosberg admitting whether he was at fault and whether it's true? Well, personally, I don't believe it's true. I believe Rosberg has admitted that he didn't back out on the move on purpose because he wanted to show Hamilton that he's there to race him after what happened in the team orders at Hungaroring. Now, we do know that the FIA will be looking at the situation, and no doubt there'll be some interviews there, but for the sake of the sport and for the sake of a championship that has been enthralling, despite one car having a huge advantage on the field, I really do not want to see that being decided by a bunch of men in grey suits who don't even attend the race circuit.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Copy 32 saying this is a great race at Abu Dhabi. I'm guessing you mean Abu Dhabi. You've done a bit of a strange hybrid of the Bud International Circuit and Abu Dhabi there. Well, what kind of circuit would that be like? My answer, boring. Now, Stewart in 8th place, well off the pace at the moment. We're still on for points as Sayara goes underneath the hotel bridge in sector 3. Going for some good points here. And race 26 not too far behind him. Well, I don't think he's going to close the gap. And Ice Cold Andy, he'll be disappointed that he's not been able to really close that gap. There's 6 laps to go, but there's not enough time.
That gap has halved, I would say, since he went in the pits in about 6 or 7 laps ago. So he has got a chance, but it will literally be right at the end of the stint.
Well, Conrad's on the stream is saying that if the stewards get involved, the worst that can happen is they may disqualify Rosberg or possibly fine him. Well, I'm not so sure on that, because if we go back to McLaren with Spygate, they got banned from the whole Constructors' Championship. And we have seen in the past drivers getting race bans. Look at Roman Grosjean, because of his incident at Spa in 2012 as an example. He was banned for 1 race as a result of that. You can argue whether that was fair or not until the cows come home. But the fact of the matter is that they have given out bans in the past. And if they feel that a driver has deliberately used their car to hinder a rival's progress and damage the vehicle, potentially risking, don't forget as well, it was on the opening laps of the race, you had Vettel nearby, you had Alonso nearby, you had Ricciardo nearby. If that had caused Hamilton to hit a high speed and come back across the track, we could have had a very serious accident. And we've already seen what happened with Esteban Gutierrez and Maldonado at Bahrain, where the car flipped over. So we can see there was a potential risk to life here. So I can imagine if Rosberg did do this and he deliberately hit the car, which I really don't believe, but if he did, there'll be a very heavy penalty from the FIA. What's your take on that, Dan?
What was that again? Sorry, Rosberg, and we still talking about Rosberg, were we?
Yeah, I was just saying that, due to past incidents with the likes of Esteban Gutierrez flipping over at Bahrain, we've also got the hellacious crash at Spa in 1998 in the rain. If Hamilton had hit that barrier, come back across the circuit and been T-boned by, say, Alonso, Magnussen, someone from that area down, there could have been potentially lives lost. So if Rosberg admits that he hit a driver on purpose there, it would be more than a fine, surely.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he got like a race ban or got disqualified and a race ban and a heavy fine or something like that. I mean, I hope that it wasn't done intentionally. When I watched it, I initially thought, just a racing incident, nothing going on. He wasn't doing anything intentionally. And I still stand by that. But
I do as well, because when you actually watch the footage back, especially if you get access to the BBC footage, that's what I use to commentate on, you actually see a replay where Rosberg goes into the corner and then kind of fishtails and hits the car, which suggests to me it was more to do with the torque of the car rather than deliberately ramming into somebody. It just doesn't match up.
Exactly. I know there's been a few underhand tactics this season by Rosberg in particular in this Drivers' Championship, but I think that's just going a little bit too far, and I don't think he would do that. I think those guys have a good enough friendship outside of motor racing. I'm not sure how good that is now, but
I think they're both off each other's Christmas cards list now, because you see the true colours of someone when you race wheel to wheel with them. It's like they always say, never move in with your best friend, because you realise just how much you don't like them. That's one of the old mantras that my grandmother used to say. So the same thing can happen with racing. You become a teammate to your best friend, but when it comes to win or bust, all friendships go out the window. It's every man for himself. And I think Hamilton's possibly been a bit aggrieved by that. And they get the feeling that, he was expecting it to be a little better atmosphere than he had with Jenson Button and McLaren. But then again, Hamilton's had this problem. I wrote a whole article on the XRL Racing League forum. If you go on there, I wrote an article, and maybe a lot of it is down to Hamilton's behaviour to his teammates. Because even if you go back to the Jenson Button period at McLaren and the Alonso period at McLaren, he's never seemed to gel with anyone unless he's been able to soundly have the beating of them, like he did with Heikki Kovalainen.
Yeah, very true, very, very true. How is this Andy battle progressing with Reese? That gap is still closing, but it's not closing by the level I would have expected from Ice Cold Andy here. And he may still have a go on lap 54, 55. So maybe something to keep an eye on these last couple of laps is whether
Doubt it, really. The race has already gone through the kink into the braking zone and the three-part chicane, and Andy's only just gone over the DRS activation zone. That's a good 3 seconds, unless Reese's tyres fall off the cliff. And they've been on for a while, let's not forget that. I can't see Andy closing the gap. Meanwhile, on the street, Conor Rice is saying the good thing with Hamilton is he knows how to win at Monza and Singapore. Well, to be fair, Nico Rosberg could have won for Singapore from Williams in 2008 if he'd not made a stupid mistake leaving the pits. So he also knows a lot about getting pace at Singapore.
Okay.
So round number of Ice Cold Andy, gap looks like it's about 4 seconds, so I don't think there's enough time.
So he's probably just going to run out of laps, and it may be that those soft tyres are getting towards the end now.
Has to be said though, that Ice Cold Andy did a good job here, because he didn't qualify well. Don't forget, he was down in 7th place, and he made that monster start to go to 4th, did really well, and since then has been punching at the usual rate we expect from him. Of course, the former world champion, so he expects to have some pace. And again, I think the big shout out today has to go to Reese. I mean, he not only qualified third behind his teammate, but just look at the performance. Yeah, he didn't have the side pod glitch like Velocity did, but he's done really well to hang on to 2nd place today. And now that I've said that, he'll probably get some kind of messy chicane spin, and Andy will go past him to take it. So cycling back through, you got LGS in P4. He's actually dropped his teammate, XRL Bobbers. So Bobbers will be disappointed, because again, I was talking to Bobbers before the race gets to the inside track, and he was very confident and said he was really looking forward to this. I kind of got the feeling he'll be eating his words after this one. XRL Stewart for the last few laps has been riding on board with a lot of marbles on the back of his tyres, and I thought it might have been a bit of a glitch, but it seems to be wearing off. He must just like going on the wider lines for some reason, because he's getting a lot of marbles on his tyres. Now, riding on board with Ice Cold Andy, I know, speaking of the devil, Reese went off the circuit in the last corner, so now the gap has come down. But I still think that's at least 2 seconds. Ice Cold Andy probably just doesn't have it up. But never ever say never. Connor Rice saying, good to see Andy getting his form back. I completely agree. It's been a while since Ice Cold Andy racing so well. And of course, you know, he's a bit burned by the fact that he had the Sauber at the start of the season and he really didn't gel with that car and it lost him a lot of confidence, hence why he went to the Classics for a while. But it's nice to see that when he is getting into anger in another car he understands, he does a good job. As Boas is now closer to XRL LGS, so the inter-team rivalry of the Ferraris is now back on. Where are you on stream at the moment? Well, have I lost my co-commentator, I wonder, because he's been very, very quiet. So XRL Bob was trying to close onto his teammate, but he's just not close enough to attack. Still not in the DRS zone. Now, Ice Cold Andy, meanwhile, can see Reese 26 a little bit ahead of him. As XRL Rusty says on the stream, come on, Reese, keep it together. Well, he's under pressure here, because Ice Cold Andy is getting closer and closer. Now, I don't think Andy's going to be close enough to a DRS, though. So I think Reese is just going to hold him off. As we go on to the final lap. Spinny Lad asking again, I've answered this question before, but I'll say it for the benefit of the stream, saying if I bought 2014 F1 game, what car would I drive first? The answer is I would be a Marussia driver, because I like a challenge. And if you're interested in seeing a challenge, keep an eye on my own channel, because me and Smithy are doing a kart championship in the Caterham. Believe me, it's not easy. So Ice Cold Andy looking at the back of Reese 26, but he's just too far behind, and I think he realises that he's not close enough. Meanwhile, Mr. Stevo says that reminds him he won a poster a while ago and he's still not got it. And yes, I was promised a poster by a certain damn Fisk as well, due to a late coverage that I did for him. No information about that, and he's gone mysteriously very quiet. As XRL Bowers has DRS on his teammate, so we're going to see some action on the final one. LGS defends in the middle of the circuit. Bowers tries to go the long way round, but he's going to be dangerous across the marbles here. LGS sees him coming, lets him go through, but LGS gets decent traction off the corner, but then there's a bit of a wobble. Has LGS got enough in the tank to attack and take the DRS, heading down towards the triple chicane here. DRS lap over, curves on deployed, but LGS just not close enough. Bubbets by a stalwart march on his teammate here and taking the position at the final lap. Ferrari on for a 4th and 5th though. Meanwhile, Miss Brilliant says she's back. Welcome back. You're catching literally the last half of the lap of the race. Hope you enjoyed your TV show. Going through turn 9, LTS into turn 10. Trying to get close to XRL Bubbets as Ciaru takes a victory on Abu Dhabi. Reese 26, meanwhile, manages to resist Ice Cold Andy for second. And oh, spin from LTS. He took too hard into the corner, but he's not going to lose a position because 6th place is nowhere near him. XRL Stewart, meanwhile, still trundling around in 8th. Velocity being very disappointed, down in 7th. F1 Division, commendable drive from him, but he finished a long way behind his teammate, so you get the feeling that he could have done a bit more better there. But a great job from Ciaru to eventually take through and take the victory here at Yas Marina. So we're just going to try and get the drivers in for the podium celebration. Right, well, while we wait for the other drivers to join, Ciaru, we'll go over to you then. A race where you got pole position, showed plenty of pace. Next thing, you're out in front, and it all seems a bit too easy for you. Was that race as easy as it looked?
That was arrogant, but it was quite easy in terms of just I didn't have any real on-track action until when Reese undercut me. But I mean, it was quite a lonely race. But Reese definitely had the pace, which really surprised me. I mean, I wasn't pulling away from him much really. I mean, I think he made a few mistakes, and that got me a second or two. But I mean, this last stint, we were pretty much dead on 8 seconds apart throughout the entire last stint. So, I mean, it was easy in terms of I didn't really have any people to bother me, but Reese definitely had a lot of pace, which surprised me. So I mean, yeah.
Has Velocity run out of fuel? Is he going to make the finish here? Velocity's crawling for the line. He's just going to finish. One of the slowest finishes I've ever seen, but he just makes it home for 7th place. So in that case, I'll go over to his teammate, Reese. A race where you seem to have a lot more pace than the recent races. You were able to qualify in 3rd position, get the march on your teammate, and then, as Sayara has just said, keep on pressuring him for the whole race. Did you expect that at all?
I got a podium. Yes, I'm so happy.
Well, it's very obvious you fought hard for it.
Honestly, I didn't expect this pace. I've managed to figure out a setup that's worked really well. And I used it in India, and I've used it on this track, and it seems to be working for me. So whatever I'm doing seems to be working. But honestly, I didn't expect this pace to be keeping up with CR.
I mean, you just mentioned India there, and of course, last week you were showing great pace there, but you seem to get caught up in quite a few accidents, kept you entangled, and all these kind of information details. Today, you seem to keep out of the wars, and evidently the pace was there. Does this give you the confidence going to Austin, Texas?
Oh yeah, definitely. I honestly, I did not expect this pace coming into this race. Like keeping up with Saru, which he's a pretty quick driver, and that battle we had ended up in the side pod glitch really annoyed me because I thought, oh, you could have a really good battle, and I thought I've got a chance of like a win here, but then the game decides to ruin it. But I'm happy with 2nd place. I finally got a good result, I think. But yeah, just looking forward to Texas now. So bring it on, I say.
Great job there, so congratulations to you. So Ice Cold Andy, we'll go over to you in the meantime. In qualifying, you seem to be a lot slower than your pace last season, and we were wondering if you were going to have the pace to really develop, but you got that monstrous start, got yourself to 4th place, and since then you seem to be constantly in battles and then just breaking the gap. Did you always have your eye on a podium?
Yeah, well, that was the target. You know, I've had a pretty dismal season up until now. I think I found out what the problem was. That was causing me to exit so many races. Yeah, so we got that sorted. And then I was a bit worried in qualifying whenever I saw how far I was, away from the leaders. I think I was really slow in the 3rd sector on most laps. I just wasn't confident there. But I think once I got into the race and I was able to settle down, certainly had the pace. I certainly had the pace once I got onto the next set of onto the 2nd set of option tyres after my first one, and I was able to put away and pass